There you go. Wouldn't come.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Let's go.
Sure. Welcome back, boys, to On The Esky. As always, we talk sport and dribble, and potentially can't open beers.
Plenty of dribble tonight, I'd imagine.
Yes, lots of dribble.
Let's
Been
go.
on the heater to warm us up. Lots of sport. T20 World Cup, 2 finals.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Australia in the final, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Let's go.
We've got NFL Hour.
Never doubted him. Never doubted him.
Yeah, never doubted him. Yeah. NFL Hour, of course. We've got UFC to review. There's a little bit of NBA news, a bit of soccer, and, of course, the F1 getting very close to the end of their season as well. As always, we've got timestamps so you can jump ahead to the various sports that you want to listen to. And if you do enjoy this content, please consider chucking us a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, or check out our Instagram as well. Boys, how's your week been? Welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, good, mate. A little bit of work, a little bit of sport, plenty of dribble. Ready and raring. Monks?
Yeah, a lot of work. Happy just to be at this end of the week.
Too much work, make monkey go something.
That's, yeah, what?
Who would you like to shout a beer this week?
Yeah.
Just starting to shout beers.
Yeah, so this one, a little bit of sad news. Well, I suppose it depends on which side of the fence you're sitting. But I'm going to shout a beer to Devon Conway this week. Was in the semi-finals for New Zealand up against England. He was, I guess he was doing pretty all right batting, and then he got stumped by Josh Butler. And walking off the pitch in a little bit of frustration, he punched his bat and broke his hand. Unfortunately, that means that he won't be playing for, unfortunate for New Zealand, he won't be playing for New Zealand in the finals. Probably a little bit fortunate for us. But yeah, this week I'm going to shout Devon Conway a beer. Rest up. Great tournament. Unfortunately, won't be able to see it through. Hopefully it's a cold one. Ice that hand.
So some clarification. Was he still wearing his cricket glove? He's like his glove while he was batting?
I'm assuming he would have. I
'Cause
don't know all the details yet.
Because, you know, the padding on that is meant to protect your fingers from like 100+ km/h ball. So how hard was he hitting his cricket bat?
Well, maybe he needs to be coming out to fight Canelo next. Got some fucking power behind that hand. Fucking Devon.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'll shout out Joe Ingles. 1,000 3-pointers in the NBA. Jingling Joe, the Utah Jazz, they're on fire. Shout out to Hamish Blake, Australian comedian, one half of Hamish and Andy. I think Joe Ingles and Hamish Blake separated at birth, if you have a little look at it. Also,
Similar hairstyles.
yeah, well, Joe, I think, is a little thinner, a little taller, both a little unusual like myself. But shout out to you, Jingling Joe. The Utah Jazz are cooking. Enjoy a beer for your 1,000th 3-pointer.
Yes. Which leaves me, my shout out beer goes out to Casey Stoner.
Great name.
Yes. And, former double world title, I think double or maybe even triple. Might have to double fact check me, but he's won the MotoGP World Championship multiple occasions. Had been retired for many years, but he popped up out of nowhere at the latest MotoGP race, and has actually been struggling a lot with injuries. So to the point, he's said I spent like the last 6 months in bed, kind of thing, really struggling. All the injuries and the from all these crashes and from the sport, essentially, for all that time, struggled to walk even, like had to relearn how to work. So, yeah, had a really rough trot the last couple of years. So I thought it was worth shouting him out a beer. Of course, he's usually a pretty quiet person, so for him to pop up at a MotoGP and then to be really open about his situation and what he's been going through, I thought was really impressive. So I thought, as an Aussie, as a former world champion and an Australian, we love some Casey Stoner, so a shout out out to him from me.
I had no idea that he was that banged up. So.
Yeah, well, neither. Like, I knew he retired. I knew he had some like shoulder and neck, I think, problems towards the end of his career.
Did he have some big wipeouts?
Yeah, well, as most guys that do
Yeah.
in the MotoGP, they have some decent wipeouts, and even the small wipeouts, you still
sure.
you come off a bike doing 100, 200 in potentially 300 kilometers an hour. Like the even sliding along the ground, you're going to take some bumps and take some licks there. So
That's it.
yeah, it's either way. It seems like he's been in a rough patch, and maybe some of that is mental as well. But yeah, just been struggling of late. So it's good to see him back out in the public. I guess trying to re-engage with the MotoGP world, and then also telling his story and looking like he's a bit more healthier than he had been in the past.
Sure.
That's it. Yeah. 2007 and 2011 was when he won the World Championships. Yeah.
Jewel.
Yeah, dual champion.
T20 World Cup, boys.
Yeah.
Semi-finals
Stuck into it.
have been decided. Our last episode, we were looking at the end of the group stage. There was a sniff for India, just a small sniff. They needed a lot to go their way, and nothing went their way. New Zealand beat Afghanistan.
Thumped 'em.
That went their hopes and dreams in terms of this World Cup. I saw a funny meme this week because India had to play Namibia in the last game, and the meme read something along the lines of, if India bowl out Namibia for 36 and get the runs in 4 overs, they'll get to the airport 3 hours earlier to go home to Mumbai.
That's cold.
Yeah, pretty funny. Pretty funny.
that is funny.
Thoughts and prayers to our Indian fans. Going into the tournament, we thought off the back of the IPL, the star power behind that Indian side, probably deservedly favourites going into the tournament. It didn't come to fruition. They go home. However, our Australian side, T20 juggernauts we are. T20 is our forte, much more important than the Ashes, I say. We're going to a fucking final.
Yes.
Against our brothers from across the ditch.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. Monks, can you grab the door? The Indians, let's just go back to them for a minute. Do you think out of all the we know Scotland probably had the worst tournament, but out of all the big kind of nations, do you think they had the worst tournament that we'd seen? Like their form and the way they played was uncompetitive, I think it is what I'm going for. Like they showed up and didn't compete as well as some of the
They got
other
fucking
teams.
dicked in the first 2 games, didn't they? Yeah. And in terms of expectations, definitely underperformed. But that's T20 cricket. Anything can happen.
Yes.
It's unfortunate, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. And we spoke about it last week. I think we thought going into the tournament, all of this IPL preparation might have done these guys some good. Perhaps there was a little bit of burnout, a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of missing of the family that might have gone on. But yeah, the red hot favourites going in, and they didn't get out of the group stage.
No. And before we get to the Australians as well, New Zealand versus England happened. England batted first, of course. New Zealand had to chase.
Yep. A common theme throughout
yes.
the tournament.
We'll get to that point in a minute. But it looks like England might have dropped the ball a little bit in this, no pun intended. They did score pretty well, and then New Zealand did manage to hunt them down. And we thought England and Pakistan were our 2 hot favourites coming out of the groups.
Sure,
and of course, they finished 1-1, but didn't get it done against New Zealand there. Any thoughts on what you thought with that England-New Zealand game?
I thought 166 was pretty par score.
Yeah, from what we're seeing, yeah.
The tournament that Joss Butler has had, for them to just keep him back to 29, I think was very well done by the Kiwi bowlers. Tim Southee was unreal. But shout out to young Daryl Mitchell. We spoke about him last week. He's put together a few runs. This was obviously his biggest outing with 72, not at the top of the order there for the Black Caps. Devon Conway, who Monks just shouted out, breaking his hand unfortunately, but had a handy 46 in getting them home. England, it seems to be a common theme, whether it's soccer, whether it's cricket.
It's never coming home.
It's never coming home. Obviously, in the group stage, red hot. Dropped that last game against South Africa. Dead rubber, didn't matter. They were going to finish on top. We were singing their praises last week. Absolutely dismantled our Aussie side in the group stage. Alas, it was the group stage, and it doesn't really matter in you've got to put it together in the semi. And those Kiwis, how about the rap sheet for the Kiwis of late? Into the final, so decision pending. Obviously, we'll preview that in a second. But 2021 World Test champions, 2019 ODI World Cup finalists, robbed if you ask me. I don't know how you can win a World Cup on the amount of fours that you hit in a tied final. Absolutely robbed there. And then going back to 2015, lost to us Aussies here. Us, we were there. We're batting 3 and 4 and running the drinks.
Yeah, 12 man.
Yeah, the beer snack is what we're talking about.
That's right. So putting an absolute resume together, this Black Cap side. And when are people going to start fucking respecting him? Going into the tournament, we were like, oh, yeah, New Zealand, they're always good. Watch out for them. But we didn't say New Zealand, red hot favourites, unbelievable short format players. So big game coming up. Big game.
Yeah. So then the other game on the other side was Pakistan taking on Australia. And, of course, Pakistan batted first, 177.
Good toss to win. Sent in by Finchy and the Aussies.
Good score by all accounts. Definitely on par, if not a little bit over for the Pakistani team. But the Australians, they came out, started pretty well. Warner was good. And Marsh, when he got in for Finchy, was good. A little bit of wobble there with Smith and Maxwell. But then it was Steiners and the big Steiners. And then with his partner in crime, Wade, come out and they put on, was another 80-odd between the two of them to get us the win in this.
And it really looked unlikely, to be honest. We just have the highlights on.
Had a run rate of plus over 12.
Well over 12 when Wadey come out, smashed 41 off 17. A big drop, I suppose, from Hassan Ali.
The run-outs, though.
And the miss.
At least 3 attempts.
Three.
3 really good attempts and would have had wickets if they had struck the wicket.
Fielding, it's always been a little bit of an advantage. Australia, New Zealand tend to be a little bit better. We're watching the missed run-outs here. Look, they're hard, but I feel like you got to take one of those chances.
Should have hit one.
And that catch from Hassan Ali. Although the counter argument is, I guess, Warner had a very tough chance. Zampa had a very tough chance in the field when Pakistan was batting.
Yeah, and then there was, of course, we just saw it, the Warner
he missed
catch out and, missed it by a good 2 inches and didn't hit anything else, so we're not sure why he didn't review it. In the end, it didn't matter. It probably would have mattered if we'd lost, but luckily for this, for him, it didn't matter. And, it's...
I wonder what's going through his head there, because...
Did he hear something? Because
he must have felt something.
But, the bat's not like it's touching anything else. It's not like his arms are touching his hip, or maybe it's a little clip on his thigh pad.
I don't know about that.
Going through, but it's it's
very strange.
The gap between bat and ball there is wider than the gap between my 2 front teeth, and that is substantial. That is substantial, ladies and gentlemen. A big like channeling his inner Gilchrist there, perhaps thought he was out, walked. And this dismissal of Glenn Maxwell, a little bit unusual. Big Maxi, known for playing ridiculous shots, reverse sweeps, makes shots look very easy that aren't very easy at all. But perhaps given the field and the match circumstance, not the best choice of shots there.
No, picks out the field and straight down his throat. So.
Yeah, and he knew that he'd really... bungled an opportunity to get some glory there. But, shout out to fucking Matthew Wade. Plenty of haters, especially leading into the Ashes. This is obviously T20 cricket, where I think it is his forte, but had a pretty quiet tournament leading into this.
Well, he's usually bats within the top 3 as well, so that's kind of where he bats
but for Australia, often find him coming in a little bit lower, but hadn't had a knock like this in a long time, and 41 off 17, striking at 240. Unbelievable scenes.
Got us home. We needed it, and that's now put us into the final. So if we talk about the final, we've mentioned chasing teams. I don't want to say the coin toss is going to decide the final, but it hasn't been
seems to be a good indicator.
Yeah, it hasn't
very
been
might well
it hasn't
too.
been a 50-50 coin toss. It's heavily favoured to one side. So yeah, I don't know. Both teams have proved they can chase. Both teams have scored runs. Of course, Conway being out for New Zealand is a big one for them. How do you see this final going down? I also think it's interesting. We are in the Emirates, and we've got 2 Southern Hemisphere teams playing here. So I'm not sure what the turnout's going to be like.
Can't imagine there's too many expats getting around. However,
They love their cricket. So.
It's a World Cup final. I still think they'll get a decent in-house attendance for this one. Yeah, look, we don't want to put too much emphasis on the coin toss. It does seem...
We hope not.
Yeah, in this tournament, it's very unusual. We can't really work out what it is. Is it these decks, they just start out a little bit slow and then they firm up? But for whatever reason, in the Emirates, it seems like the chasing team has got the advantage in a big way. Look, both these sides can hit a ball. Both these sides have got quality bowlers. Is there a difference maker? We spoke about that man Glenn Maxwell before. Hasn't had the tournament that we expected. Given his IPL form, I was expecting some big things from the man they call the Big Show. I think he could be a deciding factor if he goes out and hits the ball the way that we know he can, and maybe has a little bit more consideration in some of that shot selection. Yeah. He could be a difference.
And I'd also say, like, outside of Smith, all those guys in that batting order can make a big difference. They can hit and get a lot of runs very quickly.
But even Smudge, he's a role player. He's not go out and strike at 200 kind of guy.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that can work a situation and knock the ball around. Haven't really seen it in this tournament, but a lot of people sleep on Steve Smith as a T20 player.
If he gets 30-30 or 30 from 20 odd. Kind of that's a good outing for him. Sure, but my point being was more the other, say, the bigger boys, and of course the openers. They can go out there and they can get the 70 from 40 kind of statistics and really put Australia ahead or chase down big numbers. But on the flip side, New Zealand have got the same. So
yeah,
I think it'll be an excellent match. Is what we're getting at. It's going to be a close. Australia maybe not the best team coming into this as we thought, but having
ranked
that
7th, I believe.
Yeah, having that star power come back in from the guys that hadn't played in the recent tours has definitely added to them. So maybe it brings it back to more par. I'm not sure if you got odds there, Monkey, and I might put you to work here. I'd say Australia's probably going to be the underdog. I'd say going into this.
I think it'll be very close. I think it'll be very close. Yeah. Look, probably 2 underdogs knocking off. Two favourites in England and Pakistan, but it's T20 cricket. It's one game. Anything can happen. Absolutely anything can happen in this format of the game.
So Australia actually favourites $1.60 at the moment,
and that's through an Australian betting.
Of course.
I was having a chat.
So what's that make New Zealand? $2?
$2.35.
Wow, that's not bad money for New Zealand.
Trader.
Hey, well, I'm just saying it's not bad money for New Zealand.
What does that come with? Some fashion shops? Does it come with Jacinda Ardern? Yeah. She's wearing a sexy bikini.
Shut up, you.
Anyways, we're looking forward to it. It's late Sunday night, early Monday morning.
Monday morning for us.
Take it off. If your boss sacks you, he's a bum. In the words of the late great Bob Hawke, we've got a World T20 Championship being played on Sunday night between 2 sides that haven't won one and 2 arch enemies, and obviously the best 2 teams of cricket in the world.
Yes, and semi rematch of a World Cup final from the ODIs in 2015.
And suck shit England and India for not being there. The absolute punces. Just kidding. You're probably. Well, deservedly should be there, but maybe show up in big games. Up to you.
Ooh, shots fired.
That'll wrap us up for the T20 World Cup.
Yeah,
let's still talk some cricket and talk about the Shield. Not a whole lot has happened this week. We've got some Shield games going on.
I think we're in day two of South Australia and Tasmania, and day 3 of Queensland and Western Australia.
Yep.
So no huge scores out of South Australia and Tasmania. So what we're trying to do is we're tracking the Australian hopefuls.
Shout out to Henry Hunt.
Yes.
For South Australia,
Did
made
get 100.
another 100. I think he may be a name to keep an eye on in the future. WA, Queensland absolutely skittled in their first innings. Kawaja,
Only one that
the
got
skipper,
runs.
he made 70, but they were in all sorts. Lance Morris and Jai Richardson, the best of the WA bowlers. And then moving forward into the WA innings, that man, Josh Phillippe, he's sexy, he's cute, and
Coming
he
along.
can fucking bat.
Yes.
He can fucking bat, and he will play a lot for Australia, I believe, going forward. 129 there. WA make 281. And Queensland back out there today. A few guys made some starts. Joe Burns, Matt Renshaw, Labuschagne amongst them. But nothing really to write home about. I was having a chat with a Safa this week, boys, about the proper pronunciation of Marnus Labuschagne. And Loose bus change. That's pretty close, I thought. Marnus Lasagna is another one that I've heard. It's not really anything like his name. No. I don't have in the things that I can do with my lips and my tongue and my throat to make sounds.
We've heard from you, missus.
Settle down.
Got you.
I don't have. I can't make the sounds that comprise his actual name in Afrikaans.
Okay.
It's something along the lines of Labuschagne. So like it's and I fucked that up. Shout out to any of our Afrikaans speakers, but please someone get at us. It's like Andy Nautica.
Yeah.
There's no kia in like if you looked at it like a fucking Aussie. Oh yeah. Andrew Nortje. Yeah, he's all right. Plays Tuesday on the road. It's fucking all right. Labuschagne is not Labuschagne, apparently. Apparently.
We'll stick with the loose bus change. That helps us.
Yeah. Cha-ching. $3.50 to ride. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, those matches are still in progress. As we said, we're watching the Aussie hopefuls. Kawaja is probably the big one.
He's knocking down the door.
Yeah.
He's knocking down the door. Obviously.
Got 8 in his second innings, so but 70 in the first load.
That's
What's
about
Marcus
four innings at the moment for Marcus Harris. No hate to Marcus Harris, but Kawaja, he is absolutely knocking down the door for an Ashes selection. Have you boys seen they will be doing a Australia A versus Australia warm-up type shindig 3-day game apparently leading into the Ashes? So a testing grounds, if you will, for the boys to show what they've got.
Yeah, well. It is a long series coming up for the Ashes as well, so potentially a few
3 weeks.
Yeah, that too, and potentially a few of them will get a chance as well, depending on how the series goes and injuries, etc., etc. But a lot of guys will get a chance to play in that. So we'll see how that goes out. To finish up the Shield kind of news, also that it is very wet around Australia at the moment, so potentially some of those games might not get a result or finish up, but we'll see how they go and how our Ashes hopefuls for Australia finish up.
La Nina's back. Weather patterns. No, she's not a Latino MILF. She's not a Latino MILF, La Nina. She may be. Seems
Where does that come from?
the deep depths of my brain. Yeah. And if any of you ever have to travel there, may God have mercy on your soul. But La Nina is a weather pattern that we get in the Southern Hemisphere. We swap it with South America with El Nino. La Nina's dirty stepdad. And he's the dry one. He's a cranky old bastard. And La Nina just brings rain, soothing it. It makes the golf courses green.
Yep. Yes.
And the young
just
men
can't play on them at the
and
moment.
the young men thirsty.
No, yes. Like I said, we're on a heater today. So that'll finish up the cricket, which means we're going to step into the NFL hour. And there's been a lot of big news during the week. If we have a quick look back to last week's games, there was heaps of big upsets. Biggest one, probably Jags beating the Bills. They were
$1.09 away.
Yep.
The Buffalo Bills.
Probably killed a whole bunch of survival leagues as well. Again, not to mention the game that happened today too. We'll get to that in a minute. But Falcons beat the Saints. The Giants beat the Raiders. Happy I picked that one. And Denver beat the Cowboys. One I didn't pick.
Yeah,
so,
year of little faith.
Exactly. Judas are here, and then of course the Titans. And actually, I wouldn't say an upset, but the Titans had a really good game against the.
It was an upset.
Yeah, but they're good. Titans are a good team. That's what I'm alluding to. So they had a really good competitive game against the Rams, compared to the others, which had one team with a significantly higher record than the other one. So, so a bit of a logjam now in the AFC. There's a lot of teams there in the hunt. We'll get to that in a minute. Following on from last week, the Aaron Rodgers news.
Immunisation versus vaccination.
Yes. We covered that to death. Packers have been fined $300K. And Rodgers and Lazard both got $15K fines for breaking team rules because they went to the Halloween party where Aaron Rodgers was John Wick.
Yes, $15,000 for Aaron Rodgers.
He makes $20 million a season. What's the percentage? I know that's what we looked at.
Well, I was looking at it. I was kind of doing the mental gymnastics, if you will, today over my smoko at my day job, and I think it's about 1% of what he would earn in a game. That's assuming that with endorsements he makes $30 million this year. I don't think that's far off. Possibly unders.
Yes.
And then let's say they go to the Super Bowl. That's 20 games. 30 million by 20 games is $1.5 million a game. 15,000 is 1% of $1.5 million. For those not watching the YouTube, I'll explain what I'm doing. I'm slapping my wrist.
Yes.
Oh, bad me.
Yeah.
Slappity, slap.
Big time slap on the wrist. They did mention, the league of course mentioned that, hey, if they continue to break some of the COVID rules, especially the indoor press conference, need to wear a mask, then those fines will add up and then lead to potential suspensions. So it wouldn't surprise me if Rodgers does less press conferences throughout the year. We'll have to see how all that goes.
Boys, as guys that aren't Packers fans, do you think this is a little soft or...
I don't think you could take picks from him or suspending him. No, fine's fine. Maybe a little bit bigger fine because everyone's talking about CeeDee Lamb got the $20K fine for having his jersey untucked. But I think that's like his third or fourth violation. So he's accumulated already to $20K.
So you can catch COVID 3 or 4 times before. Come on, man! Like this is becoming an issue. Like fucking, tuck that shirt in, would you, Aaron?
I think the club will probably come down. I mean, again, $300K for $1 billion club is nothing. The draft picks, potential loss of picks is where they'll start going, hey, Aaron, I know you might not be here next year, but please do us a solid because we're going to need these.
Well, yeah, I think fortunate enough, COVID didn't spread within the team. I reckon if it did, they would have probably come down a little bit harder. The whole Rodgers got 15K, Lazard got 15K as well. I'm assuming one person earns a little bit more than the other. So,
Alan Lazard.
Yeah. That's it.
So per catch ratio for him, that's probably a big fine. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Did you guys? We spoke about it last week on the Esky here. Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee. I listened the whole way through. Look again. We're all vaccinated here. We're all, we're all pro-vaccine. But an interesting conversation,
Yes.
I thought. In the way that unvaccinated players have to test every single day.
Yep.
Vaccinated guys have to test, I think, once every 2 weeks, or if that. Different rules around if you get it. Aaron said he believes he got it off a vaccinated teammate, which
is potential. Yeah.
Which is. Maybe Lazard or Adam. So interesting times here. The interesting another thing is this whole preseason. We kept thinking Rodgers. He's got beef with management. He's got beef with
ownership.
Gutter cunts or shitter cunts, as we like to call it here on the Esky as a Packers fan. Maybe he just had the shits with the league. He had the shits with the world. He obviously has the shits with the media.
Yeah, of course.
Given what he said on the Pat McAfee show. It kind of makes sense now. All the noise in the off season, all Aaron not seeming like Aaron. It shone a light on what's going on here.
Well, last year was a rough year for the league and the players with even more strict restrictions than what they got now. But then also the mandating. Well, it didn't end up being a mandate, but it's the league heavily wanted you to go one direction.
Sure.
And penalising those that haven't. It's a hard situation to put in. I know State Farm, of course, is stuck by him, and they would pay a significant portion of that extra money on top of his salary. There was
Rogers rate.
There was a healthcare.
Yeah, they pulled. Wisconsin-based. You might be able to bring.
Was it a hospital? I can't remember.
It wasn't a hospital, but it was some kind of health sponsor of Aaron Rodgers. They pulled the funding.
Yes, because of course,
given the news.
Yes, so he's definitely been hit by this a little bit and hard, and it's hurt his reputation or his image. Let's talk about that. Maybe not his reputation, but more his image. But then Aaron's always been a bit out there, a bit left field, and.
Sure.
Got the whole strange family story as well. His relationship status, like he's the second best quarterback. Well, no, there's three. There's the Mount Rushmore quarterbacks. We talked about this, and there's probably three you can put up straight up there, and then you can maybe put a fourth one.
So your three
Brady,
Tom Brady,
Mahomes,
Aaron Rodgers,
and Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. That'd be my three is the top.
Oh, the current Rushmore.
Current Rushmore. So as faces the league is what I'm getting at.
Okay, I'm with you.
He's up there as one of the key faces. Sell the primetime games. Everyone talks about you. So there's a lot of weight that comes with that as well.
Sure. And the fourth is Taylor Heineke.
No, probably not.
Did you get something there on that sponsor that pulled?
Yeah, so it's Prevea Health.
Yeah.
Wisconsin Medical Clinical Group said that they would end a 9-year partnership.
Probably not his biggest sponsor, but
no. But apparently, State Farm has also been pulling some of the adverts that feature Aaron Rodgers.
No more Rodgers rate.
Yeah, possibly. They still
more Mahomes rate. I think they're just tweak it a little bit for maybe a month, and then hopefully everyone forgets about this. They'll win a bunch of games, and then it'll be back to the normal par of sneakerhead versus what is it? Aspiring musician. I think is what Rodgers is.
What about Jordan Love stepped in for Aaron Rodgers
against Kansas City?
Not the worst rookie performance ever. Not great.
Not Aaron Rodgers.
I'll tell you what wasn't great. Where they put his poor girlfriend and his mum. They were literally in the back row of Arrowhead Stadium. The nosebleed had a nosebleed thinking about these seats.
Yeah.
I got short of breath looking at the stairs that went to where they had to sit.
Yeah. The memes have been hilarious, like the look from Love's family's perspective, and they show it from the blimp to down to the stadium because it looked that
Forget
high
the
up.
blimp. They should be at the International Space Stadium. Space Stadium. There we go. International Space Station.
Yes.
The stadium's getting built.
Yes.
Trump's building it. We're building a stadium.
Zero gravity.
Space.
Zero gravity football. There's something for you.
It's huge.
Either way, the Kansas City, they obviously Green Bay have said, hey, we're starting a first game as a starter for our quarterback. His parents are going to be in town. Can you get us some tickets for it? They said, sure, we'll hook you up. And they were like, we don't fuck around, bro. And they would have been the worst seats they had. Yeah. Anyway, it just kind of shows, again, the Kansas City, they potentially will be up there in the AFC kind of conference championship game conversation if they can get their shit together. But they are direct competitors to what the Green Bay Packers are. So it doesn't surprise me they were a little bit of shenanigans here, getting ahead of the young quarterback potentially. Any weapon you can use, they'll use it in the NFL. So
yeah, Andy Reid was about to start chucking cheeseburgers in.
He's going to have to chuck them a long way from up there. So.
Boys, taunting. Has it gone too far?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
This week I was kind of like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
We're
well-
talking about beers. Freudian slip. We're talking about the Bears and the Steelers.
if you watch Bears football, you usually drink beers. So Bears Steelers, they were the Monday night game.
Yep.
Steelers at home, of course.
Yep.
But it seemed the officiating crew were heavily in favour of the Steelers through this one. A lot of missed calls. I think Fields took a lot of big hits as well, which potentially could have been rough in the passer, which is funny because in this game, we've got the Ravens-Dolphins game on the screen. There was some very, very soft rough in the passer calls for Lamar Jackson in this. And so flipping it. But the taunting, and I think it was linebacker Marshall was the offender in this. So he gets a big stop for the Bears, essentially gets the ball back for them, for the Steelers, potentially to go ahead and tie this game up or take the lead. He sacks, I think. He gets a stop behind the line. I think he sacks Ben Roethlisberger.
Sacks him,
He gets up, takes maybe 2 steps towards the Steelers sideline with the big kind of mean mug glare. That's it.
What was it? The one
Middle of
where
field.
He did like his. Oh, I might have done it early in the game where he did like that little spinning kick that he
back kick.
Didn't do
that
the
he
spinning
does.
back
He
kick in
didn't
this
do
one.
that? No, this one.
He just got up, had a look at the sideline, and then he kind of took 2 steps towards it. Then he turned, takes like a bouncy step, turns around, and has run back to his sideline. The ref hip checks him.
Yep.
Sticks his butt out to hit the player.
He changed his angle. The referee I'm talking about.
Yeah. He definitely, got contact with the player and then throws the flag here. So the marshal in the post conference said, "Hey, if, he did that. If it was the other way around, I'm getting ejected." So, that's not on. You watch it there. The flag, the taunting is, I thought you had to taunt, like saying nothing, glaring from midfield. I don't think warrants a taunt. So it was, and the commentators got, it might have even been Aikman and Buck, got real stuck into the officiating crew. Like, it was one of the worst officiated games, I think, in a long time for this, and really hurt the Bears' chances. They did play well and well-ish towards the end of the second half to actually get close to winning this game. Gave Ben too much time, and of course they went down and got the win.
Tinfoil hat. All right, let's watch this. This referee has got his hand on his flag before he makes contact.
Yeah, he's going to throw the taunt.
He's going to throw, but do you think, to me, I don't care about this game. I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's Bears.
But this looks like a vested interest. This looks like this referee had something in his head before this even happens. Look at that. It's on the...
Well, the NFL now has 5 official gambling books that they support. So potentially, they started talking about
support.
Yeah, the match fixing and
it's
the
a
referee.
It's a plandemic.
Yeah, here you go. Yep. Anyway, that was
nano.
That was some of the the conspiracies coming out.
But it's a joke. That's a fucking joke. The Bears got jobbed. The Bears got jobbed.
The
And that's
taunting,
coming from a Packers fan.
Yeah, and the taunting leading up to that,
it's a joke.
You don't have that in that video, but it's
a
nothing.
fucking joke.
It's nothing.
They need it. Please, Roger Goodell.
I got the taunting video here.
Listen to 3 Australians drinking beers. This is beyond a joke. Pressure point. Oh, Brendan Favola.
So that's the taunt there. He walks.
That's ridiculous.
The ref afterwards said, "I saw him run towards the opposition sideline. Like, he takes 4 steps. The punter comes out. He doesn't say anything to the punter, and then he goes off. Like, it's
a
one
joke.
Of the worst.
It's a fucking joke,
calls
to be honest.
ever. So
hopefully they can rub that out, because
taunting is the dumbest rule change they made this year. But anyway. It's
proper
better than
taunting,
6 again, but anyway.
But proper taunting.
Yeah.
We've
talked about this before, but
if you put helmet to helmet, someone's unconscious, you stand over them, you step over them, that's taunting. I get it.
Yeah.
No worries.
Getting stuck in with, you're verbally taunting him while over top of him, flexing all over him. Like,
sure.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Throw the flag. Fine.
But this is a joke.
Yeah. Anyway.
Let's move forward. OBJ.
Going to the Rams.
Huge news today.
Huge news.
St. Louis. the team formerly known as St. Louis.
Yes.
That's where I was going with that one.
Yes.
Just testing you guys.
Yeah, now in LA, of course.
Los Angeles
Yeah.
for the last fucking 6 years. But
Trying to put together all the affinity rings, affinity stones, even. The best team on paper, etc., etc.
yeah, greatest show on turf.
Exactly.
if you will. What does this mean
Trying to run
for
back.
Bobby Trees? What does this mean for Van Jefferson? Is OBJ wide receiver 4 coming into this group?
Well, I've already seen the memes of OBJ and then OBS already putting together their video of how they throw the ball too much to the Cooper Cup, and that OBJ is already wide open. Like, hey, you need to reevaluate some of those targets, but. That's the shit you get into when you join this team. But
Everybody hurts.
well, I think we've got to say the season that Cooper's having, it's
Jerry Rice like.
Yeah, it's probably going to stay the same. Matthew Stafford has a great chemistry with him. If anything,
Mate, you could put Randy Moss on one side and fucking Calvin Megatron Johnson on the other, and Cooper Cup would be coming up with the fucking football.
yeah, and well, maybe that's the idea. Is you got those bigger names on the outside, which will hopefully give more one-on-one for Cooper. Bobby Trees obviously has been taken out of the game plan a bit more. Yep. He had that one game where they fed him on purpose, maybe to please him a little bit, but generally he hasn't been fed that much.
What do you feed a tree?
Water, sunlight,
sunshine, yeah. Photosynthesis.
Yes. And footballs occasionally. And then Jefferson's kind of been the deeper threat guy that comes in, the third guy, made Deshaun Jackson expendable, and Deshaun was like, hey, I'm going to go elsewhere because I want to play more football. So like you say, does OBJ come in as 4 or is he 2 and then that Bobby Trees out and Bobby's just like, hey, I've been here for, 4 years? And
a few seasons now.
I get it's OBJ, but come on. Like,
it was a discussion that we're having in one of our group chats this week. Is OBJ now just a name? Like, in the last few years, really not done much. But we also remember the catch, the production, the talent.
Well, you got the other side of that as well. Look what the Browns did on the weekend. Look at Baker taking shots downfield.
Donovan Peoples-Jones, we spoke about him, man. DPJ. DPJ.
But it could potentially looks like that maybe Baker was going elsewhere with the football. Like, maybe proving that point that you didn't want to throw it to OBJ. So whether there's something there, who knows? We'll see how Obi fits in with his new team, and then how he gets incorporated, how they'll use him in that system, whether he is more a decoy than a guy that gets fed the football as a number one. We'll see that in the coming weeks. But either way, it's another big weapon to a team that's full of really big names. And they're all in on this year. Super Bowl or bust for the Rams.
So, OBJ, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope.
So he has been listed on the depth chart as a starter wide receiver.
Hopefully not the death chart, but
The
yes.
depth chart.
Depth chart. Relegating Jefferson down to, I guess, your second string sort of wide receivers there. So,
And Bobby Trees?
Yep, he's still in the starting lineup as
Three
well.
receivers.
Three receivers.
OBJ's
So they'll be
number
running-
3 at the moment is what we're saying.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. And with the Monday night game, as we'll preview shortly, gives him enough time to
learn the offense.
learn something. Yeah.
See what happens.
And we'll keep going with the news. Cam Newton back to the Panthers. Quite interesting. Panthers are still paying.
Something that is coming home.
Yeah, he's for the first time coming home. Good deal for him. I think it's $10 million a year with $4 million guarantee. So QB1 money essentially. It looks like he'll be the starter.
Way more than these Patriots deal last
year. Yeah, and PJ Walker was looking like the potential starter with Darnold injured at the moment.
XFL superstar.
Yes,
PJ Walker.
Yeah, had one good game in for relief for Sammy, but then played pretty terrible in the second one. So it looks like Cam's going to come straight in as QB1 for them. But it's interesting. They're still paying Teddy Bridgewater, so who was Cam's first replacement.
Yes.
They're now paying Teddy's replacement, and now they're paying Cam as well. So they're paying 2 Cam replacements and Cam as well. Hey, that's the economics of football, but they've come full circle, and he's back in Carolina.
And there's 3 edges to the circle. A triangle, if you will.
Yeah.
So on that, looking at the depth chart at the moment, Walker's still starter, Newton's second string.
You wouldn't imagine Newton starts on the weekend, but
Maybe not.
say they get dicked in that first half. He's back home. It's at M&T Bank. That's not the right stadium. That's the stadium. That's the Ravens that we're looking at right now. Say the Charlotte home fans start thinking, oh, here's Cam. He took us to a fucking Super Bowl. He was an MVP.
Yep.
Do you think the Cam chant starts this weekend in Carolina?
Did Cam ever play with CMC?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He played with CMC. He played with DJ Moore.
Yep.
He knows these guys. It's only fucking 2 seasons ago.
Now that I think about it, it's been two years.
Not that long ago.
Yeah.
It's not that long ago.
Well, yeah.
So
I think CMC's back as well. He's been.
Yeah, he was back last weekend. He wasn't lights out. I think he was managed a little bit compared to his usual role. I think he still had 18 touches off the top of my head. So, look, if we get a little bit of, I'm not talking about MVP Cam, but I'm talking about a little bit of old Cam with that Carolina offense, maybe.
Yeah, well, CMC can carry him, and then, with that extra movement ability and size that Cam has at that position, you can roll him out a little bit on that play action, and then he's just got to find DJ Moore. That's the game plan in a nutshell. If they can do that, they could potentially win some football games.
Got any numbers there for us?
For McCaffrey, yeah. So last week, 14 touches. Also caught 4 balls. Sorry.
Sack me off.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
did fumble it as well.
One couple.
Davin Cook.
Final story for our news.
Don't want to comment too much. Obviously, in the news at the moment, some kind of domestic altercation. What the exact story is unknown at the moment, so we shan't speculate too much.
Yeah.
It seems there was an allegation of domestic abuse, but
in both directions.
Exactly.
A little bit of he said, she said.
A bit of he said, she said.
There's
By the she shell, so that's quite hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's I think there's an Instagram story of some pictures of her. Look like she's been beaten up. Bruises all over her face. There's chat that then she's maced him on at least one occasion and been abusive to him. So whether it's a bit of back and forth, Dalvin Cook's going to win a fist fight with for the lady, of course.
You'd imagine. You'd imagine.
It sounds like it's not a great relationship for both of them, and it's ended very badly for both of them on many occasions. So we'll just see how that plays out.
What I would like to know is his status for this weekend. Have they stood him down?
I don't believe so. I think
there's no news at this stage. We are Friday night here in Australia, so we're probably Friday morning over there in the States. No news. We're still 48 hours away from Sunday games.
He'll probably be able to play. If Deshaun Watson can play, I think he'll be all right. While they haven't really, there's no formal court case, formal charges of yet. I think there's potentially is a civil suit again, and it's all allegations. Nothing.
Sounds like a whole lot of shit that we shouldn't speculate on.
No, yeah,
to be honest,
American law, legal system, we're not experts of either. You do get a pretty good law degree following the NFL, but we're not still experts in that regard.
We'll keep an eye on it.
So news is
anything news there?
He's still practicing with the squad. Still listed as starter on the depth chart. Nothing else has really come out so far this week from the initial allegations. So I guess it's just play on until something more severe comes to light.
See what happens, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Thursday night football happened today. We are currently watching the highlights. An absolute boil over. Miami beating the Baltimore Ravens down there at Hard Rock Stadium. Do you guys see how many players in this Ravens side are from Miami originally?
Oh, there's a fair few.
Lamar Jackson, Marquise Brown, Pernell McPhee.
The Ravens do love some Miami players. You got to remember Ray Lewis and Ed Reed playing together.
Of course. Same university is what I meant. Of course, what I meant.
Yeah.
How that could be misconstrued?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
But they love going to that
Devonta
well.
Freeman, he is from Miami.
They love going to that well, I think is the way to clarify it.
They loved it until today, and
Yes.
a massive upset. The previously 2-7 Miami Dolphins get their third win of the season, beating out Baltimore 22-10. What do you guys make of this Ravens side? Sometimes they look like Super Bowl favourites, and sometimes they look like utter garbage.
Yeah, I suppose it was a bit warm down there, whether that played a factor or not. But, yeah, until the last 5 minutes of this game, they were stinky. I think Lamar really tried to do a lot for them and drop passes. Sammy Watkins back in, had a fumble.
Also
like a
from
poor
South Florida.
Poor fumble for him. So, you know, I think the team around Lamar let him down today. The defense, you know, was good enough. It was a punt fest, really, but they let
entertaining.
They let in some points. Tua did, of course, come in.
Jacoby, what happened?
Hard to say.
He hurt himself?
Yeah, hurt himself. I think lower extremities, either groin or leg. Looked, he was doing exercises on the sideline. He looked potentially okay, or might have a slight twinge, but they shut him down. Tua went out there. Struggled early, of course, got to get a bit of a rhythm, but then he played pretty well. Of course, got him a touchdown, got him on the board, you know, got them in the lead, 22-10. And then the Miami defense picked Lamar off, played really good in the end there to get the win. So I think it was more Ravens sucked, and Lamar, of course, not happy with that. And the Finns did enough to get the win here.
And just to go back to that Miami defense, are they sneaky good? Like this
They've got Howard.
This team's 3-7. They're nothing special. Nothing special. But I think their defense is legitimately can hold their own. It showed it.
Yeah.
They showed it today. They're going up against the number one rushing offense in the NFL and just clamp down on the run.
Yep. And they've got talent there. They've got Phillips as their first round. He got a sack in this one. So they've definitely got talent. They're building something, hopefully. We'll see what they do with quarterback situation in the off season. But
big decisions to be made.
Did you boys see the right guard scoring a touchdown in this one?
Negatoria. Was it a reception? I only saw.
It was illegal touching of the ball because he was right guard. He's not meant to, but it was meant to be a screen for Gaskin. Gaskin kind of fell over and was behind the guard, and the ball comes right to him. So he catches it. He's running to the goal line. The Ravens
puts a little step on, gets past
the
defender.
Ravens like safety hits him low on the legs, flips him over. He puts his arm, like massive arm, over the goal line to get the touchdown, but then lands on his head, like bounces off his head, and then. Of course, they looked at it, like, well, that's a touchdown. And they looked, he's playing right guard. He was not eligible, so they had to bring it all back. But it's probably the greatest touchdown that never was, I think is the way to explain it. So
that's just the picture.
Oh, yeah, right.
So
reached out.
But he's reaching.
So was he the first person to touch the ball that wasn't the quarterback?
Yes.
Can't do
that.
Can't do that.
Against the rules. You knew it was coming back straight away. I thought, did he check in? Was he playing like an extra tight end? No, he was right. He was right guard, and
just a big man that wanted some glory.
Yeah. The big meat pie came to him, and he just gobbled it up.
I can respect that. Just a big fucking alpha dog that just wants a little bit of respect. Let's move forward to Sunday's games, boys.
Let's preview some football.
Let's start off with the world-beating Jacksonville Jaguars. Knocking off the Buffalo Bills last weekend. They go up against their AFC South rivals in the Indianapolis Colts. It was the Josh Allen versus Josh Allen show last weekend. Never before in league history had a quarterback been sacked by someone of the same name. Not only did that happen, but Josh Allen got picked off by Josh Allen, and I think Josh Allen fumbled and got recovered by Josh Allen.
Yes.
You know what else is weird? I believe Josh Allen of Buffalo Bills was the 7th pick in the 2018 draft.
Correct.
And I think Josh Allen of the Jacksonville Jaguars was the 8th pick in the 2019. I think they were one draft pick apart. Monkey,
a year apart.
Apart and one pick removed, if you wouldn't mind. Josh Allen, Miami. Josh Allen, Buffalo.
One of them doesn't have a middle name as well, which I thought was cool.
Defensive end, Josh Allen. Jacksonville, Josh Allen has no middle name.
That doesn't probably help them against the Colts. Yeah.
Who knows? Indianapolis going in the right direction on offense. Obviously, it was only the Jets last week, but they put 45 on them.
Leaked 30-odd, but...
Carson Wentz is looking good. Jonathan Taylor...
looking even better.
With Derrick Henry out...
He's still got 120 yards to catch him, but he's getting there.
Jonathan Taylor of the active running backs in the league at the moment is the best running back in football.
Yep.
Michael Pittman's coming along nicely. That offense is looking pretty good for Indianapolis. Look, maybe it was an anomaly last week. It was nice to see Trevor Lawrence get a win, his second win, his first win in the United States. Jacksonville's first win in the United States for a very long time. I think that's as far as we go here. Surely Indianapolis take care of business here.
At home. Yeah, I'm going Colts.
Colts for me. Max is looking up Josh Allen and Josh Allen. Maybe I can get some odds. Did you get anything there?
I did. So 1 year apart, they were both pick number 7.
Oh, both 7.
Yeah, they were both 7.
Oh, close. Well, that's why we got fact checkers here. That's why we've got fact checkers.
That's it.
But yeah, 1 year apart in the same pick.
Yep.
Josh Allen.
Allen.
Fucked up Josh Allen. Allen.
What are the odds, Marks?
Indianapolis Colts, $1.19. The Jacksonville Jaguars are $4.70. It is in Indiana. 3 Colts, I'd imagine, here.
Total match points?
Total match points and a line, if you would.
Yep, so total match points, 47.5.
Touch high.
Yep.
And a line of 10.5.
I don't want any of that.
No.
Do you remember our bet of the week last week? I think it was Buffalo to cover the line against Jacksonville.
Yeah, 14. They'll do it easy.
Yeah.
That's Buffalo's fault.
Gambling, eh?
It's not our fault.
Fantasy, eh?
Don't blame the Esky for that one. That was Buffalo's fault. Browns taking on Patriots is the next match.
Interesting matchup here.
Yeah, both 5 and 4. Browns did dominate the Bengals last week. I think I picked them as well. Patriots D dominated the...
Good on yourself, eh?
Yeah, definitely. I've got to suck myself up occasionally.
Marilyn Manson over here. He's had 2 fucking ribs removed.
Yeah.
And he's just having a big old hop, hop, hop. We're on a heater tonight. Let's go. It's Friday night.
Yeah. The Pats D did dominate the Panthers. They got only allowed 6 points, 3 picks, 1 sack, 1 defensive touchdown. Nick Chubb has the Rona.
Yes.
He's vaccinated.
He's vaccinated.
He's vaccinated. So he just needs negative tests.
He needs back-to-back negative tests.
So when I say he has the Rona, he's on the COVID list. I don't think he has the Rona. He's a close contact. And one of the other running backs, not Johnson, the other one, Felton maybe.
Dimitri Felton.
Yeah, has on the COVID list with him. But like I said, they've got plenty of time to do the negative tests, so they could be good for the weekend. And Nick Chubb had a game against the Bengals. So he's on my fantasy team, so I'm hoping for him against the Patriots.
If he's not good to go, Dearness Johnson lit it up last time, I believe it was against your Denver Broncos.
Yes.
So if Chubb's not good to go, Dearness Johnson expected to get some heavy workload. Can we start talking about the Patriots?
Yeah, like they've got a quarterback over there that looks strangely familiar to the quarterback they've had in the past.
Yeah.
But
his name rhyme with Grady?
Yes. That was terrible.
I was trying to get something that wasn't Brady. It took me a while.
Yeah.
Anyways, Damian Harris, he has got touchdowns in 5 consecutive games. He's looking okay. A little bit of an injury scare, I believe, going into this one.
Shoulder maybe. That was a week or 2 ago. I think he's been good. He's good. He looks good.
I think he's good.
They've got good talent over there in the running back position to support him as well. But Mac Jones, with the weapons they've got at receiver, which is pretty light on. Tight end is probably where their biggest talent is with Henry and Smith. But he's doing a job for them. Put in the right situations. Josh McDaniels and Mac Jones obviously on the same page with the offense's playbook, and their defense has got all their starters back from last year, so they've been better, as we mentioned as well. This will be a good game of football. I think I've gone the Browns. The OBJ less Browns usually win football games, so they're my pick for this week.
I am going to go with you and I'm going to go Cleveland. But I'm not sure.
Close.
I think it's close. I think the odds will reflect it as well, Monks. Just Googling Mac Jones versus Tom Brady. They're both obviously physical specimens.
They are.
That's about
Well, I
as far
think
as
Mac
I've
Jones
got.
is 2 inches shorter and
Much shorter.
a little bit lighter than Brady was, but
Lighter.
weight-wise.
Yeah, but you seen that picture with him in his shirt?
Yeah. Yes.
I suppose muscle
They-
weighs more
Well,
than
they
fat.
both had the same bod coming into the league, so
Yeah, it looks like you with your shirt off.
yeah, exactly.
And
Hey, I'm going to go play for New England and win 6 Super Bowls. Like, come on.
no. The body's the same. The talent is different.
No. The talent comes with the body, bro.
God, yeah.
Dad, you got dad bods for life.
That's right. What'd you
So-
find, Alex?
Yeah, nothing too much. Obviously, we've only just passed. We're about halfway through Mac Jones' first season.
Yeah, we're
I'm
at the
going
midpoint.
off Tom Brady's second season because he only played one game in his first season. But Mac Jones, stat-wise, leading Tom Brady.
Give
So
some numbers, yeah.
we're looking at per game. So per game stats, completed passes, Mac Jones on average is 22.7. Tom Brady is 17.6.
So 10 more completed passes.
It is
Yep.
20 years different than the league, so
Yeah, the leagues,
Different league
the
now.
leagues
Different
changed.
league, yep.
Yeah.
Yards, passing yards, Mac Jones on 237, Tom Brady was on 189. On par, touchdowns, receptions, touchdowns, interceptions. Tom Brady took a few more sacks. But yeah,
So out of that, we can extrapolate that more passing yards for Matt Jones, more passes completed. Is that comparable quarterbacks, or like you said, is that the
it
era?
is
The era?
early 2000s football.
Yeah.
You just think it's safety play in the early 2000s compared to now.
Yeah,
Different league, different sport. Well, not different sport, different league essentially now than it was back then. But I think I've been saying it for months, Eve. You know, Mac Jones is the offensive rookie of the year if there isn't a guy called Chase killing it at the moment. So
You have been saying that for a long
Yeah.
time. Not often I'll give you a kudos, but you can have a kudos there. Monks, some odds and a tip if you wouldn't mind.
yeah. So I've gone the Cleveland Browns as well. Is that 3 Browns?
yes,
Sounds like a
Yes.
curse.
Does sound like a curse, especially when
Going
you
into
look at the
Gillette
odds.
Stadium.
So Browns are underdogs $2.13. Patriots are favourites $1.72 at the moment. We have a line of 1.5. Total match points of 45.
Don't like any of it.
Nah,
Gambling wise, not interested. Football fan wise, very interested.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe Patriots at home as well. Starting to get a bit cooler in the year as well, whether that plays a part. But then, Cleveland's no
Cleveland.
different
Yeah,
weather-wise.
weather-wise. But a matchup of 2 AFC hopefuls, that is for sure. Moving into the next game, the Dallas Cowboys got absolutely embarrassed by your Denver Broncos last week, and the Falcons pulled off an upset of the Saints. They
Close to
won-
choking it, but
They
yes.
they had 35 rushing yards in this game, and that Saints defense renowned for that front seven. Matty Ice didn't give a fuck. No Calvin Ridley. They got rid of Julio Jones last year, and he just lit it up. Cordero Patterson, yeah, okay, I get it. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. And throw in Olamide Zacchaeus in there. He had 2 touchdown catches. The Cowboys, I imagine you watched most of this game. The Broncos-Cowboys.
Yep.
Absolutely smoked. The only bright spark I had was Micah Parsons. Seems to be coming along well there. What happened with the Dallas offense? Do you think Denver's D was just that good, or Dak a little bit of rust?
I think Dak a little bit rusty. He did throw it over. They couldn't get any run game really to help support him. And I think maybe they went away from the run game a little bit early as well. But Cooper had a few untimely drops, which didn't help.
Yes.
They couldn't get to the tight ends. I just think our secondary actually matched up really well, surprisingly, for the first time. And, though I'll jump ahead to Denver, I think our linebacking core that week in this game was much better than it had been in the past through injuries, because we finally, Kenny Young was one of the starters, a guy we traded for. Weatherly, a guy we traded for on the outside. They both played really well. Jonathan Cooper, a guy we drafted, who's Von Miller's replacement, I think had 2 sacks in this game. He's looking really good. And then Browning, who was our 3rd-round pick this year, playing inside low back. I think we've found something with him as well. He's a good talent. I think that the 4 of them just played really well, and that was kind of the difference, I think, in this game. Really took the run game and the Titans the Cowboys tight ends out of this game, which they didn't score any. They've got, I don't say 2 garbage time touchdowns, but it was the last 4 minutes.
It was garbage time.
It was the last 4 minutes. It was 30
nil.
Yeah. So
Pantsy. Embarrassment.
Yep. So I think the defense got there.
Enough about your Denver Broncos.
Yes. But for the Cowboys, they've got talent. Dak, another week of extra time and practice, get healthier again. I think they'll be pretty good, and I reckon they're probably going to beat the Falcons.
I agree. Last week, I thought Dallas, legitimate NFC championship hopes.
Yep.
Unsure. This game will be interesting.
Their defense is always going to be their issue.
It was their issue all last year.
Yeah. They added some pieces, like Diggs and Parsons have been huge for them.
Yep. But they got run down their throat.
Yeah.
By the Denver,
which is always a
running game, and Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams are okay, but it's not an elite rushing game. So
we're not talking CMC here.
No. Also, we're talking about the Falcons, who don't have an elite rushing game. Can they shut down the passing attributes of the Atlanta Falcons? I'm saying yes. I think the Cowboys bounce back and they get a win here.
Yeah, I agree.
Monks, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, no, I have also gone the Cowboys. They are favourites $1.23. The Falcons are out at $4.25 at the moment. We do have a line of 9 and total match points of 54.5.
Few points.
Too many.
Too many. Both of those are.
Yeah. If it was closer to 50 or slightly under, I would consider it. But 55. I think it's asking a lot of the Falcons in this one.
I think it's asking a lot of both of them. Moving into the AFC East, the Bills are coming off 2 losses in a row. They take on the Jets. No, it's not 2 losses in a row. It's a loss and an unconvincing performance against the Miami Dolphins. Before that, they take on the New York Jets. Josh Allen had his worst game of the year so far. He had no touchdowns, 2 intercepts. He had thrown for 2 or more touchdowns every game this year.
47 passes in this game as well.
Yeah, and they scored 6 points.
So they did lose Zach Moss through this game. I'm not sure if Moss is actually playing or not. He could be injured.
They can't run the ball through their running backs.
Yeah, well, Singatori's done nothing for them, and he's really struggled.
Yep.
Moss was essentially the replacement they drafted for him. With him out, they've got nothing at running back. We've all been saying the Bills, their biggest weakness is running back. They need someone there that can take that load and help Allen out. Without it, they then have to throw the ball 47 times, and the Jags just teed off on Allen, essentially. They knew what was coming. Do I think they can beat the Jets? They should, but then Mike White's playing quarterback for the Jets. So
he's the flavour of the month, isn't he, Mike White?
Yeah.
A few memes getting around.
Yeah.
The Bills should win this. They should. They should have won last week easily.
Yeah.
Look, it's an anomaly, I think. Last week's an anomaly. They'll bounce back. They're talented. They're a legitimate force in the AFC.
Well, if they drop this game, there's a huge log jam in the AFC.
Yeah, they're 5-4, and you start thinking they can't put away good sides. I think they bounce back. I think they do it easily. I think the Bills get their season back on track. They go to 6-3 this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, and they knock off the New York Jets.
I can say I do like some of the talent coming through the Jets as well. Watching that Colts game.
Elijah Moore.
Looks
good. Michael Carter. Looks good. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. We need some decent football in New York at some point.
How's the weather out of Western Sydney?
Great.
I think that was last weekend.
Yes. Anyway. So Zach Moss, limited practice at the moment.
Who knows what that means?
Yeah, who knows?
That's what they should say.
Actually, limited is generally good. It means he's actually training. That generally means he's tracking to play.
It's better than doubtful or questionable.
Well, it's no participation in training, and if he gets multiple no participations, you're like, well, he's probably going to be out. Very rarely there's a guy that isn't like a key starter, like your starting quarterback, come in and play with no practice. Getting limited practices through the week usually leads to hey, he's going to play in some capacity. So, which is probably a good get for the Bills, but They should just dominate the Jets. Honestly, they should just dominate them.
I think that's enough.
Yes.
Conjecture.
What were the odds, Max?
Yeah, I've gone Bills as well. They are heavy favourites, $1.14. The Jets are out at $5.75 at the moment. We have a line of 12 and total match points of 48. 48.
A few points. It's a fair few points. Be leaving that alone. Take us away here. This is an interesting matchup.
This is a big matchup.
The Titans and the Saints.
Yeah, so the Saints taking on Tennessee, as mentioned, 7-2 for Tennessee and 5-3 for the Saints. Saints, after beating Tampa Bay and then losing Winston, did start Trevor Siemian in this. Not the greatest numbers, not bad either, 25 of 41, 250, 2 touchdowns. But they did give up a lot of air yards as well to the Falcons, as mentioned. The Titans, on the other hand, played pretty well without Derrick Henry. AP was involved, but he wasn't the Derrick Henry, essentially.
No.
You can't replace that bloke. That's very difficult to do. But do I think there's also a report the Saints tried to trade for Teddy Bridgewater as well, get Teddy back before the trade deadline. Denver told him to piss off. Teddy's our quarterback. Kind of alluding to the fact that Taysom Hill and Trevor Siemian may not be the guys they need to go forward. I don't know. Can you see if they've announced the starting quarterback for this week? Are they sticking with Trevor or are they going to Taysom?
Give me a second on that one.
Either way, I don't think it matters. I think the Titans are a better football club and they've been playing pretty well at 7-2. Titans defense, sneaky good as well. I really like what they're doing over there.
Yeah.
So I'm picking Titans.
Yep. So on the depth chart at the moment for the Saints, they still have Simeon as the starter. Taysom Hill is backing him up, obviously.
What's your pick and odds?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Saints have been on the rise.
They really should have put the Falcons away, I think.
Unlucky with that. I think, you can't get past the Titans at the moment. If they're still winning games without Henry, then that speaks a lot about what they can do at the moment. So I've also picked them.
I can't find any stats for or any news on starting quarterback. It still seems to be Trevor.
No, yeah. Adrian Peterson, backing off what we said last week, did get his averages.
10 carries?
Yep, 10 carries.
Yep.
I know he got under 25 yards because I had him in a multi to have 25 or more, but it was close, wasn't it?
Yeah, 21.
There you go.
Did get 5 receiving yards, so
doesn't
if
count.
you had to switch that around.
Yeah, you need
total yards.
Total yards there.
That's it. If it was a backward pass instead of a forward pass, different
Shoulda,
story.
woulda, coulda.
I know, right?
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. If I had been talented in life, I wouldn't be doing this. Would I now, lads?
What was your pick?
Pretty fun.
This is hard. This is hard for mine. I'm going to go the Tennessee Titans, but an interesting game. A team that in the Titans that's really firming as a powerhouse in the AFC, even without the best running back in football.
Yep.
And this Saints team, you just don't know what you're going to get. They go out and they play the fucking defending champs in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They pick off Tom Brady. They bring the house and they look unbeatable.
Yeah.
And then they go out against the Falcons and they go tit for tat and, don't look all that impressive. So
Their quarterback situation, I think, is their biggest problem currently.
Sure. Drew Brees, where you at?
He's in the commentary booth.
Looks good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, handsome. His hair's
the
growing
hair.
back.
Yeah, I love them the hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. So speaking of the Bucks, that leads us in the next match.
Got some odds?
I thought you gave them to me already.
No. I just gave you my tip.
I'd be interested.
I thought you said the Titans by a lot, and then I kind of maybe tuned out. Anyway, what were the odds? Go.
I was about to say this was going to be a closer one than expected. So Titans are favourites at $1.65.
Yep.
Saints are out at $2.26 at the moment. We have a line of 2.5.
Yep.
Total match points of 44.5. Saints haven't been putting up as many points.
But if Saints score 20, I think Titans can easily score 20 plus.
I wouldn't mind the overs there.
Yeah, I think overs. I think they could put 50 together, these two. All right.
Moving on.
Now Bucks taking on the Washington
move
football
on
team. I think the big news is Fitzmagic back, because I think his hip is actually worse than they expected. So potentially he could be out for a couple more weeks, if not season. So
Monks is
I don't think it's going to matter
chasing that one
overly
up.
too much, because the Bucks should win this football game.
Both these teams coming off buys, aren't they? Should be well rested. Yeah, you'd imagine the 6-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers can knock off the 2-6 Washington
After
football
having
team.
an extra week and being annoyed of losing to the Saints, I think they'll be raring to go.
I agree. Any news there in Ryan Fitzpatrick, aka Fitzmagic?
I'm getting there. Do you want to keep on talking?
Yeah, sure.
Well, what's your tip? Where
Didn't they, blew it? That guy that blew it, sorry, excuse the pun. The guy that got blocked 4 times, I think they cut him, the Washington football team.
not unsurprising. I think.
Who'd want to be a kicker?
No.
I'd rather kick shit,
Yes.
which is what I do.
If you're going to play a position, maybe long snapper is a good one.
That actually also sounds really hard. And
Consistency, probably, yes.
not very financially remunerated.
Yeah. There's no timeline on Fitzpatrick. The reason why I asked you to keep on going on because I was trying to Google Patrick Fitzpatrick.
I thought I saw that. I think you're on a
I have
heater,
to
dude.
call that
You're on
one.
a heater. Friday night knockoff drinks. Mate, can I get a gig next week? Seriously.
It's been a long week.
He subluxed his hip. That's not fun.
It's bad. Like it's
So
we're 9 weeks already in.
Yep.
I think they're already talking about 11 potentially, if not more. So
You think about your shoulder, right? Ball and socket. Your shoulder, it does pop out with reasonable ease. Your hip's not meant to do that. It's not meant to do that. Tua Tagovailoa, that's what ended his season at Alabama a few years ago. It's meant to be a very stable, very strong joint. As soon as you start talking about, femur popping out of acetabulum, it becomes a bit of a worry.
yes.
So, wishing Fitz all the best with his recovery. I'm sure it's
Hip surgery and hip replacements are usually for old people. So.
What are you saying?
yeah.
What are you saying?
Yeah. You don't want to be having hip surgery as a potential starting quarterback in the NFL. That's what we're saying.
I thought you were saying he's old, which is
Which
also accurate.
Which is accurate, but not what I was getting at.
In terms of this game, I imagine
Bucks.
it's $3.
What's the odds?
$3. Yep, they are favourites $1.21 at the moment.
value.
The football
Yeah, it's a
team
little bit.
is $4.45. We have a line of 9.5. Total match points of 51.5.
See, that relies on Washington to score a few points. The Bucks score 30 here.
Easy.
They win. Interesting
All right,
game coming up
happy
here.
with
No.
Look, they're 0-8.
I feel bad for the Lions because I don't
Me
think
too.
I don't think they're
I don't think they're the worst team in football.
no, they're not the 0-16 Lions. Like you
No.
look at that team, that was a horrendous football team.
I think they're better than Houston is playing right now. Look, you've got a few teams that have won 2 games in Jacksonville and New York that maybe aren't that much better.
No.
Can they go to Heinz Field and win this? Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
What's the Steelers odds at the moment? They've won 5 games, haven't they?
Yeah, how many refs on their side this week?
Good. It is at home, so potentially a lot. Probably won't need it against the Lions. Their defense should kill the Lions, I would think.
Yeah, it'd be hard. It'll be hard for the Lions. To
I'm
score.
not super impressed with the Steelers' offense outside of Harris, who supposedly sleeps on the floor in college, which was hilarious.
Yes, and he did tweet back saying, "I sleep on no floor."
I slept on the bed with
in
the
college. In college, it was a little story. He
was homeless.
Homeless for a bit.
Yes.
And it's inspiring. It's inspiring.
Big time inspiring, and he's been great for them.
Yep.
Outside of that, I think Big Ben is
Old.
looking like the statue that he is.
Yep.
Deontay
Johnson's been very good.
Yeah, they lost Claypool, I think. I'm not sure. Monks, you might have to check for us how Claypool's going injury-wise, because I think he started that game but then left in around halftime. I can't remember if it was the second or third quarter. But, they've got, of course, no Juju, so Johnson's all they've got left there. They have found something in their tight end.
Pat Frymouth.
Yeah, he's looked
Second, he's the second tight end taken. Obviously, so much talk around Kyle Pitts coming out of the draft. He's, the highest drafted tight end.
He was the best wide receiver this year.
Sure. But Pat fucking Frymouth, He's a big bopper. He's a fucking Massachusetts boy. He's strong as fuck. Went to Penn State, I believe, and really lighting it up there for the Steelers.
Yeah.
They've found something in Frymouth. And
well, he's already removed Eric Ebron from the conversation.
which is not like Eric Ebron's no slouch.
Yeah, he's a good talent.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to be too good for the Lions. 5-3 the Steelers currently. So the Lions to go to 0-9, which is not great at the halfway point of the season.
Searching for a win.
Yes.
If Aaron Rodgers isn't good to go for the Green Bay Packers, maybe that's where it comes. Agreed. Steelers win this, I believe. You, Paul Claypool. Marcus has been on a header all afternoon. Watch.
I just wanted to see what would come up.
Chase Claypool. What the fuck? Throw something at
Don't worry, we've got it here. So he's missing practice. Seems to be day to day.
Day to day. Missing practice. Okay. So if he doesn't train, then like I said before, potentially that means he's going to miss the game.
How's our Paul Clay chase going? All right. Sunday late games. The Vikings 3-5 take on the Chargers 5-3. The Vikes, they lost in overtime. Third time this year they've gone to overtime. Second time they've lost in overtime.
So they could be 6-4.
They've lost 4 games by 4 points or less.
Yeah, I think they're a better team than people.
They're very close, very close. Obviously, all the news around Dalvin Cook this week, whether or not he plays, we couldn't work it out. We are still 48 hours away from kickoff, so who knows what's going on there. The Chargers, on the other hand, they're pretty good.
Played well against the Eagles. They won that game, didn't they? Yeah,
they did. It was closer than I expected.
Yes.
It went down to a final drive and a field goal to the Chargers home.
Which is a surprise for the Chargers to kick a winning field goal.
Yeah, very unlike them. Shout out to Chris Pappas, long-suffering Chargers fan. Boys, an interesting matchup here. I will go the Los Angeles Chargers, but I'd like to reiterate, I don't think the Vikings are that bad.
No, I think this will be a close game of football again. Potentially another overtime or late game winner needed in this one. I have picked the Chargers as well.
What's the over? Both of these teams can score points.
Yeah, I'd say the overs is probably going to be like 55 because I reckon 60 is what they're thinking it is. I think it'll be high. And
I'll take a touch less than that.
Yeah.
I'll take 50.
Yeah, if it's lower than 55, I think you can probably take it. But I think it's going to be up there. Monks, what's your tip and odds?
So I have also gone the Chargers. That stinks of a curse.
Who stinks?
I stink.
We all stink.
You stink, I stink. Chargers. Sorry, line is 3. Mm-hmm. Total match points, split the difference, 53.
Ooh. I don't like it. I like 50. You like 55. You got to take it.
Yeah. If like I said, if it's under that, then I think it's potential. This is like a 30-27 game, if not a bit more. So
I agree. This will be close. And fantasy wise, very interesting because
juicy for the fantasy points.
Cook, if or not he goes, Madison will definitely step up. Thielen, Jefferson, obviously very big in terms of fantasy. Herbert, Eckler.
Do a quick search on
Keenan
Thielen.
Allen,
Is there some news
Mike
on
Williams.
Thielen during the week? I just vaguely remember a story about Thielen during the week.
He likes to catch a touchdown and not
do anything
a
else.
whole lot else.
Yeah.
I've got him in fantasy.
Well, they didn't do a whole lot through the air last week. Jefferson, I think, had 2 or 3 receptions and one big touchdown.
One early.
Yeah, big early and then nothing else after that. So, yeah. Anything on Adam Thielen?
I think it was just after the Steelers game, he came out about taunting.
Okay.
He wasn't a big fan of the refs.
Fucking bullshit?
Yeah.
Taking the fun out of the game.
Well, I think a lot of the players are all in the same opinion that the taunting rule is dumb.
It stinks.
It's just it's stupid. It's like 6 again. So let's talk the next game. Panthers, Cardinals. Monks, can you find out who's potentially going to be the quarterback? We think it's going to be PJ Walker. We don't think Cam will start in this one.
No.
Give it a week. Sam has been struggling, as mentioned. He's thrown 4 picks and no touchdowns in the last 3 games. But injured and potentially out for a while, hence why they brought Cam in.
Nasty injury too. Chatting amongst on the way here. Cracked scapula. Not something that tends to break quite deep. The shoulder blade.
Yeah, I was going to say, where is it for those that...
The shoulder blade. So when you think fractures, you think, your shin, your wrist, they tend to be bony prominences.
Yep.
To get through way back there's a fair bit of flesh that you've got to go through. So a quite impactful force to
throwing arm or non-throwing arm.
Not sure. We did need to look that one up.
We did.
Obviously, if it's a throwing arm, you
It's worse.
expect it to be worse. But yeah, not a nice injury, especially going through, all that flesh, but also the pads as well. You'd imagine cover a bit of that.
Well, you land on it and then have a 300-pound defensive lineman land on you as well. There's a fair bit of force involved in that. So
Sammy Darnold, what's going on with him? He started the season so well and has just looked, to be honest, putrid the last month.
CMC, no CMC. Finally gets CMC back, gets injured. So.
Yeah. I really hope he can recover.
Yeah.
It's hard, man. You get drafted early, you look good, all the measurables are in your favour, and then you go to the Jets with Adam Gase, and then you come out of that into a Carolina offense which isn't proven.
Yeah, well, and coaching staff that's still learning.
Exactly.
Well, not learning, but they're not. We're not Bill Belichick. So yeah,
exactly.
And they were heavy in the Deshaun Watson trade talks as well. So it was them, Finns, Denver, and there was a fourth team I can't remember off the top of my head. They were the main ones.
Taganong Tornadoes.
Yeah,
Marquee signing.
yeah.
But yeah, look, I feel for Sam Darnold. I want him to recover from this nasty injury and get his career back on track. Whether or not that's at the Carolina Panthers will be interesting to see what happens here with former XFL superstar PJ Walker and possibly former MVP Cam Newton.
So that's enough about Panthers. Let's flip to the Cardinals, who are 8-1. No Kyler Murray last week. No DeAndre Hopkins. No AJ Green either.
And no worries.
Yeah, no worries. They absolutely smoked the 49ers in that game.
Going into this game, you could, at kickoff, I think they were about $3 to win. Juice.
Wow.
Juicy.
Juicy. Yeah. I still took Colt McCoy.
Yeah.
Colt McCoy, man.
James Conner, I think it was the main one. They lost Chase Edmonds, so I'm not sure what's the deal with Edmonds, but he didn't play the rest of that game.
My fantasy team last week, with Rodgers being out, took up Tua Tagovailoa.
He didn't start. Inactive, I think.
No, played. Suited up, but didn't play.
Yeah.
So it gets a big old donut. It would have been nice if he was inactive, then I could have changed it.
yeah, would have known going into it.
And then Chase Edmonds hurt himself. And look, it's not all about my fantasy team. We need to talk about Chase Edmonds. Seems like he's going to miss probably 3 or 4 weeks of football.
Yep.
So James Conner perhaps going to get more of a role. Who's their backup? Benjamin something.
Franklin?
Benjamin Franklin flew a kite and got struck by lightning. A founding father, I believe.
I thought it was.
He's on the Bills.
I thought it was there is a Benjamin Franklin somewhere.
Yeah, he's not on the Buffalo Bills. He's on the dollar bills.
No, not that bench. I know there's someone Franklin that plays.
It's someone. It's something Benjamin.
Something Benjamin. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he's not one of the founding fathers. The fourth man on football Mount Rushmore.
Let's go to back to Murray and Hopkins. Neither have trained so far this week, which is not looking good. Likely that Hopkins probably misses again. Murray potential game day decision, so they'll get closer.
Eno Benjamin is the man that we're talking about. Not someone that's revered in American history.
Yes. I still think Cards are going to win.
Oh yeah, I think I play quarterback for the Cardinals this weekend, and I say James Conner and founding father Benjamin Franklin take it up the guts. I write 360 on two. Let's go. Watch out for the lightning.
Yep.
That's the same guy, isn't it? Benjamin Franklin flying a kite, got struck by lightning.
He's now doubting himself because he's made this joke so long. Yes, Peps, that is history. I got to bring in, a man of history at some point in this podcast.
That's right. Yep. Where do we start talking about?
Genghis
Khan.
He wanted to talk about Mongol. What was it? Handball before.
Badminton?
Badminton's one of the two.
Trying to figure out all the sports.
Give us your tip and your odds, Mugs.
Yep. I'll go back to the Panthers real quick. So Sam Darnold shoulder was his throwing arm.
Yeah, that's bad for him.
That's bad for him. PJ Walker seems to be a starter. Just before they picked Newton up, they also picked up Matt Barkley from. Was he from?
He's actually been at Carolina before. He was
Yeah.
at. Oh, he's been at Kansas City. He's been at the Steelers, I think.
USC quarterback.
USC.
Yeah.
He's been around the league a fair bit.
Yeah, so the Panthers picked him up off from the Bills. So by all accounts, it's PJ Walker, possibly Matt Barkley, then Newton.
Okay.
But we'll see.
The money they've paid Cam, I think he's going to get a role at some
Seems
point.
like
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
enough about this one. I imagine it's
Odds.
3 Cardinals.
3
Odds.
Cardinals. Yep. Odds. So they are heavy favourites, $1.19. The Panthers are out at $4.75. Line is 10. Total match points 44.
44 all day.
Yeah, all day. Overs, big time.
Taking that all day, every day. Let's go. Packers Seahawks.
Yeah.
Danger Russ, he's back.
Aaron Rodgers, back.
Not confirmed,
Not confirmed.
but likely.
Danger Rush, not confirmed. Still technically on injured reserve, but I think he'll come off the day of and play the quarterback, which is a pretty good turnaround for him after that finger injury.
Yeah, 4 weeks, I think.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers, I think he had to spend his 10 days, so I think he should be fine.
They
but
did
again,
play Thursday last week.
and Wednesday, I think he's when he got done. So
Thursday and then into Sunday. Yeah, I think,
yeah, he'll have
10 days. That's 10 days.
so he should be good, barring of course actually getting the COVID.
Don't worry, he's immunised.
Yes, yes. But Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers wants to come out and have an excellent game to try to change that narrative, change the story. Let's go back to talking about Packers football being at 8-2, but then also Danger Russ coming back. Potentially rusty. They need some help at the quarterback position. They're at 3-5, really struggling. Defense hasn't been great, and DK and Tyler Lockett are waiting to be fed. So
But DK been pretty good. Tyler been very quiet.
yes,
Packers. I've got me Carlton hat on, but I should have my Packers hat on. I think they take care of business here. Not bad.
I'd be interested to see if they've got a market on this, or whether they've got it closed at the moment, like they did the Houston game last week. Considering they have both quarterbacks unconfirmed, because whoever starts their number one, I think, wins this.
Yep.
So if there's no Rodgers,
So if you're saying it's Wilson versus Love, you'd like the Seahawks?
yeah, I like the Seahawks,
And vice versa.
Vice versa, if it's Smith versus Rodgers, I like it the other way around.
And if it's Rodgers versus Wilson, who do you like?
I'd go the Packers. Yeah, you kind of saw how valuable Rodgers is to the Packers after last week's game against Kansas City.
That said, as bad as the Green Bay offense was, they lost by 6 points.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't.
At Arrowhead.
I thought they might have fed their running backs a bit more than they would have.
Yeah, I agree.
But they went 3 and out a fair bit as well, so it doesn't help.
Aaron Jones, not a massive factor last week.
No.
I thought they might have relied a little bit more on him.
Okay.
AJ Dillon, he's coming along. He is really coming along. Odds and your tip, if you wouldn't mind, Monks.
Yep.
Obviously, a bunch of superlatives here, a bunch of what ifs, what's going to happen.
That's it. So I have tipped Green Bay. It seems that non-unofficial sponsor, because they're not a sponsor at all, Sportsbet.
They're dirty dogs.
That's it. Also, potentially banking on Rodgers playing, because they have the Packers as favourite $1.53. Seahawks are at $2.52 at the moment.
I think that's value for the Packers, $1.53, if Rodgers is the quarterback.
But it's all what ifs, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
We have a line of 3.5 and total match points of 49.5.
Yeah, too much
Lots of
much can happen in the next
Too much
2
uncertainty,
days,
I think,
I
yeah.
believe. And the last Sunday late game is Sean's very own Denver Broncos taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Broncos, we already spoke about it. They fucking took care of business last week against the Cowboys in their own house.
Yep.
Jerry Jones was seen pissing his pants at three-quarter time with his Cowboys down 30-0. Yep. This Broncos defense, they're fucking pretty good. We've
Well, we've
without Von Miller,
Yeah.
Take away one of the best outside linebackers in recent history, and they absolutely shut down the Cowboys' offense, which is high-powered.
Yeah. And I think there was some conversation also during the week that maybe some of the younger front seven were heavily reliant on Miller too much, as in like, you know, now that Band-Aid's been ripped off, it's like, hey, you can't rely on Miller to make all the big plays, but you're going to have to step up and move into that. And maybe it's shift as well, some of the offensive game plans as well. Like Miller's getting doubled all the time. Now everyone's kind of getting a one-on-one look and
Frees up a few guys.
it makes it maybe a little bit easier. Who knows? Either way, the young guys really stepped up in that game. I think Pat Satan's training, but was injured in that game.
Yeah,
but
you know what he hurt?
legs, I think hammy. From memory, that could be wrong. But anyway, Kyle Fuller stepped in, played pretty well for him. We got the highest paid secondary in the league at the moment, so they did pretty well in that one. Eagles, not known as a electric passing offensive team. They've got Jalen Hurts that likes to move around, and he can definitely pass, and he does like to get his tight ends and the running backs involved in that. I like Denver, if they can play the same defensive performance they had against the Cowboys. Of course, they're going to win most games.
Yep.
I hope they could do that against the Eagles. My concern would be, can they contain Hurts? And if he can get it outside them, he's going to hurt them. Again, no pun
So we
intended.
did there.
Actually, that was intended. I won't lie.
No shit.
Yeah. Offensive-wise, like the run game, like Javonte Williams is excellent. He busts tackles left, right, and centre. So he's coming into his own, and it'd be really good to see how that looks against this front seven for the Eagles, which is pretty good. I think Sutton's going to get Slay, so I think that'll cancel him out. Tim Patrick was a little bit banged up, but he's been playing pretty well.
He's coming along, isn't he?
Yeah, and then Judy comes in and it's been good. So
It's a formidable receiving core.
though Denver's got a better record, where they are as clubs is probably more comparable. I think this will be a good game of football. I'm hoping Denver at home will get the win, and I've backed them here for this one, but we'll see.
I tend to agree. I think Denver get the job done. I've got concerns around that passing game at Philadelphia. Outside of Hurts to Devonta Smith, who's been very good, I just don't think they've got enough spread.
Don't have enough weapons, and Dallas Goddard's probably been their only other big weapon. But
Yeah, and possibly a little underwhelming considering
would have thought it'd be more involved.
Yeah, with Zach Ertz getting traded, you'd imagine, he would have become a really prominent tight end. It hasn't come to fruition. I think the Broncos get the job done here at Mile High. Mark's your tip, and what do the odds suggest?
Yep. So real quick, just back on Satan. It was a knee injury, listed as non-participant in Thursday's training. So probably going to be out.
The big concern is Garrett Bowles. Glasgow broke his leg, and Massey also is injured. So 3 of our 5 offensive line positions will be out. But I will say Calvin Anderson played pretty well. Quinn Merners came in, he played pretty well, and then we got Cameron Fleming, I think, playing for Massey. So solid replacements there, hopefully cover us. But that Eagles front seven, the front 4 really is pretty good. So that could be where the game kind of falls apart for Denver maybe. But if they can run the ball well, it'll help Teddy connect up with those other guys. I think that's where it happens. If they can't run the ball, Denver's probably fucked.
And shout out to the man on my right for knowing the backup offensive lineman for your side.
I think I know the whole roster, so
That's a tragic right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is a tragic.
big time.
Yeah. All that being said, I have picked the Broncos. They are favourites.
That's a big time curse. Fuck you guys.
The Frogan is also a terrorist. That's bad.
That's terrible.
They are favourites $1.69.
I think that cancels the curse out. So that's good.
Oh, one can hope. Eagles are underdogs at $2.17 at the moment. We have a line of 2.5 and total match points of 45.5.
Ooh, I don't like any of that.
No.
All right, Sunday Night Football, AFC West. The Kansas City Chiefs, underwhelming Kansas City Chiefs,
This is a big game of Florida, you too, by the way.
take on the Las Vegas Raiders. Deshaun Jackson, he signs with the Raiders. Hasn't had too much influence in the league the last couple of years, but
He had some decent touchdowns to the Rams this year. Of course, playing his deep throat role, and
That's all. Not all he's ever been, but obviously one of the fastest guys to ever line up out wide in the NFL.
Well, he comes in as a direct Henry Ruggs replacement. I think is what you put there. He's probably potentially not going to be your number one receiver.
No.
I think Hunter Renfro and Braylon Edwards would be your go-to guys for Carr, but add Deshaun Jackson is probably the number 2 receiver with Hunter playing in the slot.
He's slot man.
He's
Wes Welker Jr.
Yeah, he's big time slot man. We'll stretch the field for him, which is the role he needs to do, and hopefully they can. Hopefully he'll do that, and they can score some points. I think this is going to be a competitive game of football. Kansas City loves the league points, and they've won the last 2 on the trot, so they've starting to get back into the picture. And like I said, big picture for this in the AFC. If we've said Denver and the Chargers are going to win their matches,
might be the best division in football.
Well, it's probably the closest. They might not have the best team in football currently with, say, Packers, Rams, and Cards with where their records are. But every team's
Packers first. Then.
Well, it's the first one I can think of. But they've got 4 teams already got 5 wins. Yeah. So they're competitive. So, so big divisional matchup here. Did the Raiders beat the Chiefs already this year? No.
I don't think they've played. I think
I'll figure that out. You guys, I've talked enough. You guys figure out your odds.
I don't think they have played. I will go the Chiefs here. Very unusual to see Patrick Mahomes kind of struggling, to be fair, in the NFL.
10+ picks already, as we've been talking about.
I think only Sam Darnold has more picks than Patrick Mahomes this year in the NFL. I think they're still really talented. Their defense is a little bit lackluster, but I think they get the job done here. I've gone the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep, I have also gone to Kansas City Chiefs. They haven't played each other this season.
So they got first of 2 matchups here.
Yep. Yeah, so they are favourites $1.67. The Raiders are out at $2.22. We've got a line of 2.5.
The Raiders Did the Raiders beat the Chargers? Maybe that's one thing.
Chargers, yeah.
Correct. Yep.
No, must be the other way around. It says here Chargers are they're 2-0 in the division.
Good listening. This
they lost to the Chargers.
So Chiefs lost the Chargers?
No, we're talking about Raiders here.
Yeah, so
Raiders lost to the Chargers.
Yeah, don't worry. Fuck up. Just keep going.
How do you like total match points of 52.5?
Sounded better than the last 15 seconds.
Yeah, maybe the might go overs. It's probably
neither team have really been scoring points lately, though.
No, and
I wouldn't be betting on this.
No, I wouldn't. I'd just watch hopefully a good quality game of footy.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about Damon Arnett?
Yeah.
Well, talk about the Raiders last month. Like it's
horror,
big time horror.
Yeah.
Of course,
we had Gruden
first.
We had Gruden Gate. He was the first one to go. Then we had obviously the very sad story of Henry Ruggs last week, and then this week we had last year's first round pick cornerback Damon Arnett. What did he do? He had a threatening video.
Yeah, multiple
social media.
Yeah, social media and weapons. So he had multiple different types of guns. Threatened the camera,
he was essentially threatening to kill someone.
Yes,
on you TikTok or something like that.
Yeah.
With the gun, and
you can say it jokingly.
Yeah,
like we have a few beers, I say, "I kill you."
Yeah, it was.
Whereas I'm really
there was more intent,
motherfucker.
I'm going to kill you with love.
I'm going to kill you with shit jokes.
Yes. I think it was more intent, which is what they
intent is important.
Yeah, which I think is what they were worried about.
I can say, "I kill you, motherfucker," and it's intent. It's intent. But yeah, a horror month for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Have a look at the 2020 draft picks from the Raiders, and then you'll be like, that draft has been an absolute shit show for them now.
Well, Arnett's amongst that. Ruggs is amongst that. Who else?
Marcus, do you want to bring it up?
Oh, because I think they traded out of that as well, didn't they?
Yeah, I think Braylon Edwards is the only one still playing from,
Yeah.
from that draft. They had 7 picks.
Yeah, look that shit up. I think that draft class is essentially inactive outside of Braylon Edwards.
Yeah.
Which is fucking wild. It's a year ago. It's just over a year ago.
So we had Henry Ruggs in first round, 12th pick. Damon Arnett, 19th pick.
So that's two first rounders.
2 first rounders gone in a year as well.
Yep. In no second round pick in the third.
No second round pick, and that was traded away.
Yep.
Third
Third
was
round.
Braylon Edwards.
They had Brian Edwards and Lynn Bowden.
Lynn Bowden. Not sure.
No. They also had Tanner Muse.
Also not sure.
Yeah, not sure.
And then they had 2 fourth round picks, John Simpson, offensive guard, and Amik Robertson, cornerback.
So I'm just seeing if I can find the list for... Because I think a bunch of those have been cut.
Haven't been, yeah.
Bunch have been cut, one's been traded.
I did see the meme. I think the only active guy out of that draft class is the receiver.
So Bowden is with the Dolphins now. Brian Edwards. Yep, you mentioned that. Tanner Muse is now at the Seattle Hawks. John Simpson is still with the Raiders.
Practice squad.
Yep. And so is Amik Robinson. But
That'll wrap up that.
Anyway. Terrible draft class.
Yeah.
Shit show. Like, that's free.
Also, hindsight.
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
All right, final match we need to talk about. Rams take on the 49ers on Monday Night Football for back-to-back Monday nights for them, isn't it, for the Rams?
Sunday night into Monday night.
Oh, Sunday to Monday night, yes.
But back-to-back primetime, I believe, for the Rams.
Well, they've got as we mentioned before, the
OBJ.
the Avengers of NFL football at the moment, all the big names. What do we think they do to the 49ers? We think they fuck the shit out of them.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. But
It's going to be very dry and very rude, I think.
but I thought that was going to be the way of the Titans. And
Titans are a better football team than 49ers are.
Agreed. Do you know who the number one fantasy football quarterback in the NFL of the last 2 weeks is?
I hope it's not Jimmy G and it's going to
Jimmy Garoppolo. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Garoppolo. And that's facts. I heard it on a podcast. Not this shit one that you guys are listening to, I hope. But this is a big matchup of NFC West rivals. The Rams looking to bounce back. They were 7-1. They ran into the Titans' defense. It's the first time that Matt Stafford and that offense kind of looked to struggle. They kind of lost their way a little bit.
Maybe that's why they got OBJ. They need to someone else that can get open.
Interceptions. I think they bounce back. I think they take care of business
They
here.
should demolish the 49ers, I reckon.
Demolish is a strong word.
Oh, I think demolish. 40-14. There you go.
Woo! Sean likes the line. I think the Rams win. I don't know if they demolish in terms of your vernacular there, but I would like to see your tips and the odds there. Monks, if you wouldn't mind.
Yep. So I have gone Rams as well. They are favourites, $1.46. The 49ers are $2.74.
$1.46 is good.
Yep. We've got a line of 4.
Oh,
So not the demolishing that you thought.
Take that easy.
Total match points of 49.
49ers, 49, Omen. I'll take
Is that what we're
I'll
going
take
with?
the Rams -4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To wrap up the NFL, the Bears, the Bengals, the Texans, and the Giants are all on buys this weekend.
Get a break.
A little bit of fantasy implication, I suppose, in the Bengals. You know, no Joe Mixon, no Jamar Chase, a few of those other Bengals receivers.
Burrow.
Outside of that, a few, quiet teams, let's be honest, on buys this weekend.
I mean, I can't play Johnson this week with the Texans, so that's huge for me.
David Johnson. I was wondering which Johnson you were.
yeah.
I was thinking of Andre Johnson.
Let me put it this way. There's a few options on the Bears you could play. There's a few options on the Giants you could play. Who are you going to take fantasy-wise for the Texans
Brandon Cooks, baby.
Cooks is like the only one I can think of.
He's good. He's good.
Yeah, he's good.
Actually, you screwed me this week for fantasy.
Me?
Yeah, you. I wanted to pick
What'd I
up
do?
Melvin Gordon off waiver wire.
Melvin
You beat me to it and let him sit on your bench.
I did. And had he been starting, I would have only lost by like 30. So
I could have used those 30 points.
everyone could have. However, no, I've got Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
He is running back 15 in the NFL this year in terms of fantasy. Melvin Gordon, get the fuck around him. And quite potent. A potent duet with Javonte Williams there. Let's talk about our second favourite American sport.
Yeah, enough NFL. That's the hour and 40 maybe done.
We also spoke about cricket.
I know, I'm sure. Anyway, let's talk about the NBA. Monks, do you want to bring up the table and the current standings? Ben Simmons' watch, I don't think he's played again.
No, and he's come out and said this.
And I think he's getting fined again as well. Like they've had enough of his,
Yeah.
I'm not right to play. And the mental health side of it.
Yeah.
And I'm going, fuck you, we're still finding you.
It's hard.
It's dirty.
It's hard, man. Like as soon as mental health comes into it,
He doesn't want to be there.
I think that's the crux of it.
They should do the fair thing by moving him on.
I agree. But also, if someone's struggling mentally, I also don't want to be the guy that's really
Finding the bloke.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But look, we've seen, from the outside looking in, it doesn't seem like Ben Simmons plays again at the 76ers. I think that's fair to say, boys. Look, we've got his fucking jersey there. We want him to succeed. He's an Australian. He's a number 1 overall pick.
Someone from my fam, actually, I think my old man saw that on the weekend when he came over, and he had a little chuckle and a laugh to himself, and he was like, "Not anymore." So even he knows what's going on with Ben Simmons. So.
And I would like to say to Greg Gould, how many minutes in the NBA have you played, my good sir, a good friend of the podcast, a good friend of ours, of course, known us since we were wee taggers.
Yes,
and
probably
more mature than we are now, lads. Let's be honest.
Hopefully. Anyway,
But
I think that let's talk about
it's a shit show. It's a shit show. We don't need to fucking talk about it every weekend.
We'll wait till something happens.
We'll see what happens. I'll tell you what else was a shit show, boys. Nikola Jokic v. Markieff Morris.
What were your thoughts?
Well, Morris checked him.
A big check too, as well.
Morris checked him, and Nikola, he lost his head. And look, I don't. It was a coward shot. It was from behind. Morris couldn't see what was happening.
Yep.
It could have resulted in a serious injury. I'm not condoning it.
Yep.
However,
Yeah.
that check was bait. That was bait. And Jokic took it.
Yeah. So I'm going to disagree on that point that I think I'm going to say the Joker is probably within his right to get retaliation here.
You're going to back up a coward.
Well, I think Morris acts more coward. He hits the bloke, turns his back and walks away. He's just like, I've got you. Yeah. And then, I'm going to give myself up here. I think it was pretty interesting.
Plays just walking.
And I'm going to have two Hall of Famers in my corner here with both Shaq and Barkley were talking about this, and it was like, you hit a big man like that, and you turn around like, hey, we're swinging. So they both are like, you got to. It happens. The little guys are going to come after you and attack the big man and put on a big shot like that. But you don't turn your back. You don't walk away because your shot's just as cowardly, and you've tried to, kill up and protect yourself by turning your back. You should expect something coming back in your way. So I think Joker's probably within his rights. Probably, maybe not a hip, not a hip, shoulder charge deep in the back. Maybe come over and give him a good shove in the back, know what's on, get Morris to turn around, and then you lay one on his face. Of course, basketball players don't want to break their hands like the boxers, but hey,
NBA into the UFC segue.
Yeah, but as you want. He's got to reassert his dominance essentially as a big man. So
I'm with that.
You expect the stuff to come back your way. What was interesting, I think, was the backup of the other Miami Heat players. Very much getting stuck in the Joker. It was like
Jimmy Bucket.
It was in the back and behind. So they weren't happy about it. You know, Jimmy Buckets being the main ones. I think the quote, saying, "I'll see you in the back."
Calling him fucking getting paid $20 million a year. We'll see you in the car park.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Buckets, let's go.
Yeah, we'll finish it there, and not to be a down on Jimmy Buckets, but Joker is a big Serbian dude, and he has two massive Serbian brothers. Yeah. So I think it's the wrong sort of trio you want to run into.
Few good memes coming out of
big time.
out of the Jokic brothers. Christ, would not want to fuck around. Would not.
No.
Sorry, sir. No, thank you, sir.
Yes. So I won't hit you next time. I'll do it legally.
If either of the Jokic brothers want to fight me in the car park for Jimmy Bucket's money that he earns this year, I'll take it. I'll take it. Let's go. KFC car park.
Yeah.
Tuggeranong ACT. Let's go.
Anyway, that was probably the biggest story.
Yeah, massive.
Massive. And
Jokic got a 1-game suspension. Markieff Morris got fined, and that was it. It's a tough one. When it's basketball, it's a contact sport, but you can't go.
Not that sort of contact.
No, you can't. And that's the thing. If someone disrespects you like that on, in an actual contact sport, you can line them up and actually.
Oh, I'll come back and get you next play.
Exactly. You can get yours. You can get some fucking revenge.
Yeah.
You can't do that in basketball per se. You can go fucking posterize a cunt.
Yeah,
dunk
I'll
on him.
drop 40 on him. So
Yeah, exactly. But you can't actually, get
physically. Yeah.
get that physical testosterone. You can't get it out. It's like letting something go.
I was wondering where you're going with that.
Yeah, I'm not referring to anything, guys. I'm just sometimes it builds up and you just want to release it. But he couldn't do. You can't do that. You can't do that in that instance. So Jokic, he cops a 1-match ban. Cop that on the chin. Morris gets his, and let's move on.
Yep.
Let's fucking talk about the standings. The Washington Wizards, ladies and gentlemen, Russell Westbrook, he goes and they become better. Mm-hmm. They become better. But the trade, I think, was very big. Kuzma looks good. He looks good. I never thought I'd say that about Kyle Kuzma. The Washington Wizards looks good.
Yeah. Currently at the top, equal with the Bulls. The Bulls also looking really good.
Brought in DeRozan.
Yes.
8-3. Brooklyn, they're trending in the right direction. You guys, I think I tagged you or I fucking sent it to you this week. Cole Anthony for the Orlando Magic. They've won 3 games. And one of the weirder post-match presses you'll ever see. Fact. Monks, bring it up. I want to see that shit. Because I've never seen so much dribble other than ourselves on the Esky.
Yeah. Who'd they beat?
I don't fucking know, but they've won 3 games.
Yeah,
they won 3 games. He's carrying on like they were fucking just won.
Yeah.
He just beat Michael Jordan's fucking Scottie Pippen. They just beat the 96 Bulls. And Cole Anthony's carrying on like he beat them and he fucked your mum. He did both. Cole Anthony. Get Alicia on the bloke. Seriously. I tell you what, in the East, eyes on Atlanta. I know it's early. Eyes on Boston Celtics.
Yes.
A little bit unders. You'd expect. It's a long season. I get it.
Well, we were talking about Heat last week. They kind of moved back a little bit. The Knicks are there. Interesting, Cleveland moving up a little bit. 76ers are still doing enough in spite of not having Ben, so they're looking like they're doing well. On the other side, we've got Golden State. Have they won 10 straight? No, what's their current streak? 6 straight. They're 10-1. They've won their last 6. A good record for them. Followed by the Suns and the Jazz. Mavericks, of course, aren't there as the Nuggets we talked about before we get to the 2 LA teams. But the Pelicans looking pretty average. Also the Rockets with they haven't had James Harden in a while, but they're not looking real great recently at all.
James Harden they haven't had for 2 years.
Yeah, I know. I was like, why'd I say that?
For a while.
Yeah, for a while. I was like, 2 years.
Whilst I'm trying to work out how to get volume on Cole Anthony interview.
He just says fact. What are you doing about fact?
It's not good. It's not good. But
it's funny.
Shout out to Cole Anthony has won more NBA games than what we have ever won.
Yeah.
True.
What's Patty Mills doing, Nux?
Getting buckets?
Yeah, that. His year just keeps on getting better and better. So today or yesterday, this week, he was nominated as ACT Australian of the Year. So that leads into the Australian of the Year awards.
Yep.
Later, next year actually. So yeah, just acknowledging his contributions to social justice and everything he's done for the Indigenous community in Australia. So just props to him having a killer year.
Shout out to Bala Pat. He is from our hometown.
Yeah.
Canberra. Represent. An absolute legend. Probably the most likeable guy in Australian basketball history.
Yeah.
Bar Andrew Gaze.
Yeah.
But shout out. And he's, look, obviously had a lot of success with the Spurs, but in recent memory, you know,
Spurs
a lesser role.
Yep.
Let's be honest. This year with Kyrie, you know, fucking braiding his hair tin coloured,
Doing Kyrie things.
Yeah, doing a bit of Kyrie. Paddy's really stepped up, and look, I hope he wins that, and I hope he goes far this year.
Keeps on having a great year with us with the Nets and
yeah, makes that team likeable. Really makes that team likeable.
Did Paddy get a ring with the Spurs?
Yeah, he won a ring and was pivotal actually.
Yeah.
In those days. Coming off.
Get another ring. That's what I'm alluding to.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, we don't like Brooklyn that much.
yeah.
But all the best to Paddy. He's a fucking legend of Australian basketball.
Definitely, yeah.
Boys, let's move it into the On The Esky final round.
Yes.
Ding ding.
But as always, we start off with the UFC. We had UFC 268 on the weekend.
You guys want to start from the undercard and move forward?
We'll work our way forward. Yeah, let's do that. And there was a few crazy KOs on the undercard. I think the main one was the big boys.
Yeah. Check out the Esky fucking Instagram. Mikey's been active this week. He made a video. And
This one.
and we saw Chris Barnett. It's pretty unoften that you see guys carrying a little bit extra bootay, let's be honest.
He is fighting heavyweight.
Yeah, he's got some room.
I'm aware. Do you normally see heavyweights do fucking spinning wheel kicks
Yeah. And then
and front flips to fucking celebrate?
Yeah.
Blow up the Death Star?
Yeah.
No, you do not. Shout out to Chris Barnett. Unbelievable knockout. And speaking of Alex Pereira, he's a scary motherfucker. Brazilian. Whoo, baby. That knee, it went straight through. They look scary. Flying knee, fucking finish his opponent.
Well, Alex has an incredible kickboxing record.
He does. He's 4-1 now, I believe, in MMA.
Yes.
And a multitude of kickboxing
Yes.
fights.
So the last knockout of Israel Adesanya was from
Kickboxing.
and was from Alex.
Yes.
So
I think he's beat him twice in kickboxing.
yes. So that's the history there, of course, in the same division. Hopefully won't fast track Alex. He needs at least a couple more fights. I know Israel's just recently been booked against Bobby Knuckles against Robert Whittaker for just January, I think it is. Maybe not December. January, I think it is for their rematch.
Sure, Monks will take a look at that.
But either way, there's potentially another contender working their way into the middleweight division. Did well enough as a guy coming with kickboxing background with the wrestling and the takedowns, but as soon as it was standing, it showed his pedigree with a great, like you said, great flying knee, set him up and just killed him. That was a great finish, which then led into
the main card
and probably the best fight we've seen in a long time. Justin Gaethje taking on Michael Chandler.
It's the best
round war.
Best fight I've seen this year.
Oh, easy. Yeah, and it goes back. Takes you back to previous, gunfights. Essentially, is what this is. They just stood in front of each other and just wailed.
Slung.
First round, very much. I think we give to Michael, to Chandler. With he landed very well. Had Justin wobbled. Maybe he emptied his gas tank a little too much. And then of course Justin worked his way in the second and third. But they just threw. Continuously, just stood in front of each other and went to war. And Justin did get the decision on the cards and wasn't as beat up as Michael Chandler was by the end of the fight. But he, just showed Gage's kind of pedigree and kind of where he's changed as well. The highlight, he's the highlight is his nickname. Used to getting into scraps and going for wild stuff and getting finished, unexpectedly. And this, a bit more calculated. Picked his time and keep progressing. Don't know how Chandler got up from that uppercut, which sat him down. That was a huge punch.
Tell you what, he's a tough fuck.
Oh, big time.
No
big time.
questioning either of these guys' toughness. I do want to question Michael Chandler's fight IQ, his intelligence. He kept dropping his gloves and just letting Gaethje.
I don't know whether they got to the point where it was just like it's a show. I'm just here.
It seemed like it.
I'm just here to entertain.
I've never seen a guy drop his guard and just welcome him and just eat him
and just go to town and wail. So,
unbelievable fight, and very, very smart by Dana and the UFC guys to put this as the first fight of the main card. We were kind of questioning it, like the fights coming up.
This could be a main event on some of the other
exactly
on a fight night or some other pay per views.
But I guess the thinking was we're at Madison Square Garden. Let's make sure there's bums in seats.
They had Canelo's card going on at the exact same time,
which Dana was watching.
Not through this fight, but of course
through
Rose's fight. But it just showed when that kicked off. They had 4 fights on their card. The crowd didn't fill in until Canelo was coming out, essentially, whereas we had a full crowd ready to go for the start of the UFC event. So, good kind of setup and, again, different worlds, different stars, as you will. But it was excellent to see they put on, these two for this 3-rounder to start off.
Where do we go from here? Gaethje get the title?
Shot? Yeah, the fight for the belt. I believe so. Who's Oliveira booked for Dustin Poirier? He'll get the winner of that, I reckon.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. So if we talk about Chandler, though, interesting, he came out and said, the welterweights, they were 170. 2 days afterwards, they checked their weights. Michael Chandler was 191 pounds 2 days after this fight.
You're joking.
Yeah. After the fight.
He looked thick. He did look thick.
He's thick, but
190?
Yeah, he said he's 191. He was heavier than both the guys that contested the welterweight title at the end of this card. So, there's chat, him and McGregor at 170 could be the go, which for both of them, that's not a bad option. It's a fun fight. It's fun. They'll stand up. Chandler could probably out-wrestle McGregor if he really wants to, but if he takes the same game plan as he did with Justin, that's an electric fight that'll sell well and people will watch.
I didn't look into it too much, but I think McGregor was trying to call out Masvidal today on social media. So,
Masvidal just pulled out of his fight. Well, I've got that at the end there. He's just pulled out from Edwards. He gave him the 3 pieces of soda and hasn't been able to put a fight together, so he's out of that pay-per-view of UFC 269 that's coming up in a couple of weeks as well, which is unfortunate.
I reckon Masvidal will kill McGregor.
Kind
of going up.
170, yeah, probably.
Kind of going up.
Yeah.
I like to see it. Dana, make it happen. I'm sure you're watching.
Yeah. And so Edwards was there without a dance partner for that one currently as well. So we'll see what happens there.
Shane Burgos defeated Billy Quarantillo, I believe. 29-28, I believe. Interesting. Again, we spoke about it before that this would go after Gaethje and Chandler, but Burgos making his way up in that division. And then moving forward, Marlon Vera defeated Frankie Edgar. He was really channeling Anderson Silva. There's been a few memes taken out of this one. Front kick, it landed clean on Frankie Edgar's chin. Obviously, no disrespect to Frankie. He's been in the fight game a long time.
Yeah, well, it showed even at, 135, like the power difference. Every time he touched Frankie, you just were worried about it. And the front kick, I'm not sure if you boys have seen the actually, I think Monk sent it to us. The stopped photo, though, of the front kick, of his face. Like, it's one of the worst photos.
It looks like the Easter Island head. Here we go. We're going to watch it live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure this is great listening.
Yeah.
I'll try to articulate as best as I'm watching.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah. Explain it. What does it look like?
It looks like a chimps, like a chimpanzee.
Yeah, he looks like one of. I can't remember. He's an alien off like Star Wars or some shit. There's an alien that looks like that has that face that looks more like a beak.
It looks like he's
pulled
aged.
out.
It looks like he's aged
Incredibly.
50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
it's,
looks like he's on death's door.
yeah. And I don't
Knocking.
know.
Knock,
He doesn't look like Frankie Edgar. Like
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
you couldn't pick who that is.
Do you think that picture's doctored? Do you
No.
think that's doctored?
That's 100% the real picture.
Can you guarantee that?
Yes.
Yes.
Quite simply, yes.
It doesn't look real. It doesn't
Yeah,
look real.
it's, yeah. Well, it shows like the impact of the force and the force rippling through his face, essentially.
Ladies and gentlemen, fans of the Esky, look it up. Marlon Vera tags Frankie Edgar. It does not look like Frankie Edgar. It looks like the fucking Easter Island man.
Yeah, and I've
Is that something we post?
yeah, it's it'd be interesting.
Put it in chat.
I don't know why Frankie keeps getting killers like Vieira's coming.
You know who he looks like? He looks like the fucking monkey, like the orangutans off the Jungle Book right there. You know, King Louis. King Louis.
A little bit.
It doesn't look real. It doesn't look real, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway, back to the fight game. I don't know why Frankie keeps taking on these killers like an up and comer like Vieira and this. I guess he's still ranked 8, so he's still an elite fighter. But
Who wants that cash?
yeah, but you know he's 40 plus now. Maybe it's time. Frankie's time's done. And even at 135, he's got the technique. He just doesn't have the power to compete with these guys, and he can't keep going to a weight for divisions. He's at the bottom essentially now. They don't really run much 1, 2, 2 5s anymore. I think they might have even killed that division by all accounts. So, yeah,
All shit took aside.
I think Frankie's done. He's just come off. Well, it was Sandhagen his last one before that. He's had two huge knockouts. I don't think he needs to keep putting himself through that.
And nothing left to prove Frankie Edgar a star of the octagon. Mate, I think retire, enjoy it, commentate, train, head coach.
Yeah, he can be around the sport and he can definitely contribute. Like he's Frankie Edgar. So then we get to the 2 championship fights. First off, we had Thug Rose taking on Zhang Wei Li. I think it's Zhang Wei Li. Sorry, ended up in a split decision. Zhang did start off pretty well in the start of this fight.
She won those first 2.
Yeah, first 2.
By my count.
Yeah, and it was pretty competitive overall fight. You could see that Zhang probably had more power and, of course, more size, definitely. But then Rose was, say, not picking her apart, but landing more jabs, more of the technical shots, which was keeping her in this. But then she kind of hit another gear in the championship rounds. Definitely won round 4 and 5.
Easily.
And, a couple of those, probably 2 and 3, were maybe a little bit more debatable of the rounds. So she, of course, picked up one of those. So it was a close fight. For me, as a long-term UFC fan, I still have the old adage, you got to beat the champion to be the champion.
Yep. Nothing else fair.
No, a lot of people say, hey, if you win the rounds, you might as well win. But in this, I don't, especially when we got championship rounds, Rose went to another level, outstruck her, was landing more. I think she was a deserved winner and wins this. As we talked about in this division, there's no one else. Like, it's these 2 and then no one. So...
the devil's argument is Carla Esposada, is it?
Yeah.
To get another shot, but I think trilogy. I think trilogy.
Yeah, but do you run that back, or do you try to find something else fun for Rose? Because I don't think going up and fighting Valentina is a good idea. Let's not do that.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, she's got even more power and size than Zhang does, so let's not do that.
No, that's straw. I think that's straw weight. Just run it back.
Yeah.
That's what makes sense.
They'll fight for the next decade until someone else comes
But
along.
the thing is as well, as Zhang has lost 2, I think a lot of the conventional thought would be you have to give someone another chance.
Another chance, yeah.
And then Zhang can go back and maybe get a win and then earn her way back to come back at it.
Maybe Rose sits for a minute and Zhang goes fights Carla. Like,
Yep. I don't mind
maybe
that.
that's the direction. If she wins again, it's like, well, there's no one else. So like, I'm the gatekeeper here for now. You got to run it back against me. So, hey, and another excellent fight. Another, this one lost a lot closer than the first one, of course, was the early knockout.
You get tagged on the chin in the first round, of course. It's all shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, big time. So.
But hats off to Zhang. She was. I think I texted you guys watching the first 2 rounds. I was like, Rose is getting fucking bashed up here, guys. Like those first 2 rounds was Zhang all day, every day. And then that's testament to Thug Rose, her cardio, to come back and dominate those last few rounds.
Yeah, championship will.
Yeah, exactly right.
So then we get to the last fight with Usman taking on Kobe Covington. This ended up being the war, like the first one was. They went the distance in this one. What was quite interesting, I think, from about the 3rd round, Usman dominated the first half of this fight easily, like really landing on Kobe. Kobe was worried about the power. I think he got dropped at least once in this. Probably, I think it was the 2nd round he got dropped, but then he recovered from that. And then the 4th and 5th round, he just started outlanding Usman, and Usman was wobbled a couple times as well.
Unusual to see that.
Yeah, well, he took some big shots against Burns and almost lost that first round against Burns as well. So. I'm not sure if Usman's got the greatest chin in the world, but Kobe definitely's got a really good chin and came back in this one. Potentially won some of those later rounds, but they did give the overall decision to Usman, which I think was fair. Looking at their work and the canvas they had painted on each other, Kobe had definitely been beaten up a little bit in this one. So Usman for mine. So.
The question I wanted to ask you guys is Usman the best pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC at the moment?
Current active fighter, potentially.
I think ranked he is. Is that a shout to John Jones?
Yeah, potentially. There's already chat, like if you look at the welterweight division.
Where do you go? Where do you go from here?
There's probably not a great fight there, of course. Leon Edwards is probably the main one, but he can't get. He needs like a fight to push him into that Usman conversation. Masvidal would have been that for him. If not, there's the chat about, well, why don't you go take on your Nigerian brother and become champ? He's probably got enough body size to put on the mass required to be able to do that.
The height is a concern.
Yeah, he's 6'2", but Israel, of course, being 6'4", is a different beast. But at least he can come into that comparable than if he was 5'11" going up there. So
sure,
or 6 foot like Kobe is.
Is Usman versus Wonderboy a chance? Usman versus Vicente Luque a chance?
Nah, they're still a couple fights away. Edwards is the big one. He's the one on the biggest fight streak, I think, at the moment in the welterweight division. But like I say, he's not a huge name. He can't really get a good fight. He just beat Nate or Nick. No, he just beat Nick Diaz.
Where he got rocked in that 5th round as well.
Yeah, exactly. And a fight he dominated through to that last round. Nate potentially could jump into this spot to replace Masvidal, but that doesn't really help his title contention conversation. He needs to beat like a Masvidal or Kobe to get into that conversation, I think. So it's unfortunate he's Masvidal's pulled out of this one. So, yeah. So the Usman maybe sit back. I think he's fought 3 times this year already, so maybe take a rest. Hope the welterweight can sort itself out a little bit and then get a challenger to come through.
This weekend we've got Max Holloway taking on Yair Rodriguez. It's just a fight night.
Fight night for this one, but
anyone on the undercard from memory?
Ben Rothwell, from the heavyweights, probably the biggest name I think on that card. I couldn't really notice anyone else, but Holloway, the big story, featherweight, to push his name back into that conversation. Rodriguez as well. Monks, can you get their rankings? Are they like 2 and 3 or 3 and 4? They're up there. And with Volk just knocking off.
Winner of this goes
Ortega,
straight back to Volk.
could very well do Holloway for the trilogy against Volk.
I think the people want to see it. The Holloway fans think that Holloway was robbed in that first one. I think the second one, obviously, it was close, but I think Volk had him covered. But yeah, obviously Holloway fans, they're nipping at the bud to get another shot at Volk. But we can't assume that Max gets it done here against Yair.
No, and Rodriguez is another up-and-comer in the division. Is a very tough fight. I think Holloway needs 150 strikes landed to go past 3,000, I think, in the UFC, or the fastest to 3,000, which is just crazy. We talked about the most significant strikes in the fight. The top 4 are all got Holloway in it.
Yep.
So he does like to land with frequency, so he'd probably get that number in the first round by all accounts. What are they ranked, Monks? Did you find me a ranking?
Yep. So Holloway's ranked 1 behind champ Volkanovski. Then we've got Brian Ortega, and then Rodriguez at number 3.
Yeah, winner of this gets Volk.
Yeah, and then going back to the pound per pound. So Usman is 1, Volk is 2.
Volk, Australia, let's fucking go. Wollongong.
That's it. Then we've got
Let's go to
Adesanya.
Wollongong tonight. I'll start.
Well, we've got Israel as well, his Kiwi brother. So
Yep, he's there. Ngannou, then Poirier, Jones, and then Holloway's in at 7 as well. So Holloway's still up there for pound per
Where's
pound.
Shevchenko?
or Nunes.
Is that only males?
That's the males.
Yeah, they split them out. So Nunes and Shevchenko will be 1 and 2 for the win.
Yes. And then Namid Nunes is number 3. Yeah.
So I think that finishes us for UFC.
That'll wrap up the UFC.
Yeah.
There was another big fight on the weekend.
Yes, so there's another card that happened at the exact time.
We
and
alluded to it before.
Just as important to Dana White as UFC.
Seems. Poor Rose and Zhang Wei Li.
Yeah.
Dana White watching Canelo versus Plant. But what happened, boys? Did you guys catch a whole lot?
Yeah, I watched this fight as well. I had both going. Just as good as Dana White watching both fights at the same time.
I'm more loyal than Dana. I was enthralled in the UFC.
Well, it's Canelo. Like outside of the heavyweights, you tune in for Canelo. He is the pound for pound best boxer in the world.
Yep.
And he solidified this in this. It was the last belt he needed to collect in the super middleweight division.
Unified.
It's unified,
Very
undisputed.
unusual. Very unusual in boxing these days.
Well, I think there's actually 4 currently, so.
Well, 4 out of 13,000 divisions.
Yes, exactly. So there's a couple. I think Terence Crawford's another one that's got all the belts in his division. So, yeah, impressive to do it. Plant, I think, was undefeated coming into this. Took a very defensive outside style. Tried to pick Canelo away with the jab, but Canelo just weighed him down.
Picked him apart.
Yeah, picked him apart. And in the 11th, really got this. I think he only dropped. I think he dropped round 1 and 3, but outside of that entire, like when I say dropped that, it was just the judges preferred Plant in those instances, but he won all the other rounds. So he was on his way to a convincing win, but then got one knockdown of Plant, and then went after him after that and finished him off with some big shots. Got a beautiful hook uppercut. He's a very, very good fighter. So
Can anyone beat him?
I don't know. Triple G was the chat for a while, but they beat him twice. So I don't think
even if they run that back a third time, no disrespect, Triple G, but I think Canelo's got that covered.
Yeah, he's got this weight division completely covered. So it's whether he wants to go up or down. Because I think he's actually come up to this division from what he used to fight at quite a while ago. Like I think he's progressed a couple of divisions up as he's gotten a bit older.
He's good for boxing.
Oh, big time! Like outside of the heavyweights, you want to get interested in any of the other divisions. Super middleweight's a good division to really get after because it's the normal. I'm going to say normal size kind of blokes. It's your 6 foot kind of size, and that kind of weight. So it's more something that we could see ourselves or the regular man fighting versus like a heavyweight is my comparison.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Where's the 6'6" fucking 4-inch nose boys at?
Yeah, but how much do you weigh? 90 kilos?
96.
96. So you'll be, I think, light heavyweight.
Me and yeah, let's go light heavyweight. Nah, I'll go up on division. Tyson Fury, let's go.
He's 7 foot, bro. So or 6'9".
Oh, 6'9". Come on, man. Him on the piss. Jeez, what could go wrong?
But hey, it cements Canelo.
Yeah,
as
unbelievable.
the best
He brings in the
100%.
casual, and I am a casual boxing fan, but intrigues me.
Yeah, definitely. So, some stories to wrap up. Soccer, EPL. I think the big stories was West Ham knocking off Liverpool to go to third on the ladder.
Hammers.
The Hammers. I think they finished fifth last year. Missed out on champions. So to get into that four and hopefully hold that spot throughout the season.
Yep.
They've been playing pretty well.
City winning the
the Manchester Derby.
Yeah.
Over United.
Freudian slip there.
The
United derby. City coming along victors there. United kind of they've just taken the foot off the gas a little bit recently. At least in the EPL, doing pretty well in the Champions League. But international round this week, boys. The Socceroos had a very dull
draw. Frustrating.
Goalless draw. Yeah, frustrating. Frustrating is a word that would describe my sex life and the Socceroos taking on the Saudis on the weekend. Oh, no, not even on the weekend. Midweek this week. A lot of rain. Very wet.
We alluded to it. It's wet on the east coast of Australia at the moment. So,
and those through balls they were just holding up. The touch wasn't as pure as it would normally be. It does set up a few enthralling matchups. It's us, Saudis, and Japan vowing for that top two spot. Top two go through, and third has to go the long way. And it is a long way. You have to play the other group, third in the Asian qualifiers, and then you've got to go across and play South America's fifth. So you don't want to miss out. Top two go straight through, automatic qualification. That's what we're after. So a few games still to go. Japan won, so I think we're in second by B's dick. Saudis are first, and Japan's in that third spot at the moment. So we've got a game next week against China. Hopefully get the pickies there, and then got to go forward from there and try and close out. It's interesting to see the Socceroos these days. Not a whole lot of household names with Tommy Rogic and Aaron Moy out with injury. Not a bunch of guys that the regular Australian is really familiar with. As it's Beige, very good.
I'd say a more complete side than we've probably had in the past. Maybe.
Yeah.
With a lot of guys playing, big minutes across the globe. So true. A lot in the leagues of the young Socceroos at the moment. I'll counter that point. I think if we go back, there were more complete Socceroos sides back in the day. But going forward, look, they're in a strong position. Need a few results. And hopefully knock out our arch rivals, it seems, Japan. Yes, they're Japanese. Monks, can you find out who the Australian defender was that did his ACL? And if possible, can you scroll to the bottom of that? Because I think Newcastle are the only team that haven't won a game.
They're in big danger. Over on the left here.
Yes. Newcastle, only Premier League team.
0 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses, equal with Norwich City, who have been equally horrible.
But won a football game.
They have won a game. So the Saudis, what's going to happen if they were to perhaps get relegated?
Well, they might spend a year
trying to build them back up.
Well, spend a year spending a shitload of money to then build themselves.
They've already committed. Yeah. They've already committed, so it doesn't matter if
they own the club. So it might take them a year to get back to where they want to be, but maybe that's a year where they can retool, like we say, and then come back in and push into that middle of the table.
Do you see it being like a full Manchester City 10 years ago kind of situation? Obviously, money talks.
Yeah, probably. Like,
Yeah.
we're not talking about them top in the league next year. It takes
a while.
It's a 5 to 10 year plan kind of thing.
Yep.
You got to get your juniors in. You got to get your big marquee players to come across, and then eventually you'll be in that upper echelon. So what was that final note there about? Oh, did you get the Australian defender before we talk about Stephen Gerrard?
Yeah,
Make it work
Harry Stouter. Sutar.
I think that's how you pronounce it. 6'6", Scottish
Yeah.
lad, Scottish Australian, obviously.
Big defender.
Defender for
ACL?
Stokes.
Confirm ACL?
Yes.
Oh God, that sucks.
Wait, I didn't actually figure that part out.
He's big. He's my height.
Yeah,
and much more talented and has better chat. But yeah, that sucks. If he's gone down, vice captain, Socceroos, no bueno.
Sorry, I don't have a report on what the injury actually was.
Just
that it was
says Graham Arnold is devastated with injured defender Harry Suter. He'll miss next week's clash against China.
I think
That's it. He needs to. He's going in for MRI.
I think the concern it was non-contact, side to side, so they're worried it's ACL.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed there for Big Harry.
Yeah, hopefully it's not that bad.
Interesting watching the boys get around because everyone is about 5'11", and then Big Harry's out there 6'6", big fucking commanding presence at centre back. Fuck it, and he wins a few headers. Don't worry about that.
We need him to. We need some big lads back there.
That's it. Yeah.
Marks, what's Stephen Gerrard doing?
Just a quick note. So
he slipped and he fell on his ass. Stephen Gerrard.
That's it. Yeah. So Liverpool legend. He has been over in the Scottish Premier League, managing the Rangers. Helped them win their first premiership in 9 years over in Scottish Premier League, I guess. And he has just been picked up by Aston Villa and is going to be moving back into EPL, managing them. Whether he helps their cause this season.
The villains, they need a bit of help.
Yeah, they do need a bit of help, sitting at 16th at the moment. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, good to see Gerrard back in the EPL in some format.
Big time.
And then what's happening at PSG with the ladies? This was a bit of an interesting story.
Interesting is putting it delicately. Any of you guys seen that movie I, Tonya?
Or know the real story about Tonya.
Look, movies real life. not that far separated. Depends on the storyteller, I guess.
True. I mean, the story was based on real life facts. So
Yes.
So did a PSG ladies player organise for another player to get stabbed with a ice skating fucking what do they skate on? Skates.
Not directly. It sounds more like baseball bats and broken legs. So
yeah.
Mugs.
Well, I think
the story, if you wouldn't mind.
The weapon of choice was the same.
Weapon of choice, I
believe.
Fat boy slim. Mm-hmm.
Can't believe
weapon
you asked me to lead this with these names. No, my track history. So Paris Saint-Germain's the women's football team.
Onomatopoeia.
Aminata Diallo has apparently been arrested in relation to attacks on a fellow teammate,
What's that name?
Kera Hamrui. Hamrui.
I
Got close.
maybe some phlegm. Maybe some Hamrui.
Both
Regardless.
both French nationals. Both also play for the French national team. I think Aminati Kira has just been recalled back into the French national team. So, what are they? Centre midfielders? Okay.
yeah.
You're the one that shared the story with us.
They play soccer. So yes.
They play soccer for the French national team, and one of their own teammates ordered a hit.
Yes.
Ordered a hit on the other one. I, Tonya, like, if you will.
That's it. So, Aminati apparently had ordered some friends to... So, story is they were...
Stabby.
Both in the same car. They were driving back from training or driving from somewhere together.
Play on.
And, apparently she had her friends pull...
Jumped.
Yeah, pull Kira out of the car and attack her. I think it was pipes to the legs, trying to injure essentially what you need to play football.
Yes.
To walk.
to do a lot of things in life. Apparently, there had been a few other players on the team who had received threatening phone calls as well. I'm not sure if it's in relation to this incident or something unrelated.
Allegedly.
Hard to be a coincidence.
That's it. But yeah,
Scary times.
crazy scary. Apparently these two teammates were allegedly close friends. They would go on holidays together. I mean, they both play the same position, so they'd train together a lot, I guess. So for all accounts, you'd think close friends, but apparently
push comes to shove.
Well,
I need my position.
That's what it is.
Well,
a lot of the speculation is that they play the same position, and
especially for a team like
that ordered the hit on the other
PSG.
one. Yeah, apparently it's a lot of jealousy.
Yes, yeah. Hard to say. Contracts, match payments, etc. What all that comes into it. What their financial situation is and how they're trying to push themselves into that they need to be in the starting squad and what that's forced them to do. But breaking your mate's legs to play a game of soccer is probably a bit overkill.
And in next week's episode of On The Esky, Sean and Monks can't join us. They are both suffering broken legs. I'll take it away.
Oh, that doesn't hurt my voice. So.
Got to be broken jaws there, I think.
Oh, it's
Mind you,
that's
probably
good laugh, isn't it, boys?
That would probably improve my chat.
So we'll sit through straws and you can carry us, perhaps.
The inability to walk or talk. But no, crazy story. Imagine ordering a hit on someone that had trusted you and was meant to be a teammate. Seems, maybe we'll be watching a movie. I, Tonya, the third.
Yeah.
Maybe.
In terms of the PSG girls. Boys, AFL.
2 sports to cover. AFL.
Vaccine mandates.
What's happening
It's a slippery slope. Well, yesterday they said there was a player, he doesn't want to get vaccinated, we're not going to name names. And then today they name names.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure whether it's been alluded to, but it looks like it's Liam Jones. Who's
what's that? It's PM Jones. His name rhymes with PM Jones. We don't want to name names here, guys. We don't want to name names. Yeah. My thoughts was it might have been Sam Doherty, who is struggling with a little bit of cancer and chemo. I thought it might have been him.
He's got a fair exemption, I think, to not getting it. Whereas versus Liam, in this case, who's probably perfectly fine and healthy.
Yeah, you know what my thoughts is? They're AFL players. I think they all should be fucking up to them. I don't really care. I hate COVID. Yeah. I hate talking about it.
Yeah.
It gets me fucking triggered.
Yeah. Well, they've already, I think, reported 4 teams in the league are fully vaccinated, so they're all sorted. Yeah. So, in Melbourne, it's off-season, so that was like, we need a story. What's a good story? Player refusing to get vaccinated. Headline. Yeah. So, yeah. Hey, happen to be Carlton.
But also, that's like a great key defender. Obviously, the number 2 behind Jacob Wiedering there at the Blues.
They have the mandate. AFL has said no jab, no play. So.
Yeah, We could talk about it for hours in terms of...
Yeah, that's more politics than sport, so...
Pushing that rule on football players, I'm not sure about that. I hope Lamb comes around because he's a great key defender, one of the best intercept markers in the AFL. We'll see what happens there.
Yep. So to finish this off, we've got to talk about the F1. We did have the race in Mexico over the weekend.
Viva la Mexico!
It was...
Great circuit.
Yeah, great circuit.
Awesome
big time atmosphere. They had over 300,000 people over the weekend.
Across the 3 days.
Yeah, it's across the 3 days for the event. Of course, a massive crowd for race day. I don't want to say the race was won on the first corner, but it was won on the first corner.
Classic F1.
Yeah. So
from the start.
So we had a Hamilton and pole. Max was...
I think Bottas was on pole. Hamilton was 2.
Yes, 2, and then Max 3, and then Perez behind them.
Yep. And I think after qualifying, leading to the main race, Max even said he prefers 3.
Yeah, just because he's on the same side right behind Bottas.
Yeah, and you definitely saw it right from the get-go. He caught the slipstream behind Bottas and Hamilton and was able to, I guess, outbrake him into the first corner, getting the lead. Mm-hmm. Bottas... obviously being stuck in the middle on... Inside corner. Then had to cut across, and then that's where I guess we saw the the tangle with Ricardo.
Yeah, so Ricardo flying through. He had an excellent start, was pushing his way into, a top 4 kind of spot. Whether Bottas could have left him a bit more room or assumed someone might have been there potentially, but either way, Bottas gets spun around and Ricardo loses his front wing, and
He lost his front ring. How's the back?
his wing, so he had to go.
Didn't know he's Jewish.
Oh, muggy. Either way, they both had that ruined their races. Max basically led the entire race from there on. Hamilton did try a couple of times to fight back that position through tyre strategy, but Max had him covered. He absolutely dominated this race and was P1. Perez, with Hamilton trying different tyre strategies to get Max, Perez came back through late in the race and was very close. Holds on for third. So in total, I think Max added another 7 to 8 points on his lead. So he's got a 20-point lead now on Hamilton for this upcoming race. As before, Bottas and Ricciardo, I didn't think finished in the top 10 after ruining theirs. So Norris didn't have a great race either. So the McLaren had a bad week. Ferrari had a good week. They were 4th and 5th.
I've just got their overall driver standings here. So
I think they were 4th and 5th for Leclerc and Sainz, which then pushed them. I think they're like 6 or 7 points ahead of McLaren now in their battle for 3 and 4 in the championship. The battle for Red Bull and Mercedes in 1 and 2 is also very close. I think Mercedes, of course, still in front, but over the weekend, the results helped them.
That's it. It was interesting because with Bottas, because I think was it like a 2 pit stop strategy for most teams towards the end of the race because Bottas was so far behind and was out of points. They pitted him again because Verstappen had the fastest lap.
Get it.
So Bottas pitted, they put him on fresh tyres and got him the fastest lap. So the moves, I guess it just goes to show how close this championship race is, where they will literally Mercedes will pit one of their own drivers
team standings for
outside of championship points just to pick 1 point off.
Yeah, well,
Red Bull.
Looking at that, they're 1 point ahead in the Constructors' Championship, so that point really, really counts. So the rest of the race wasn't the most action-packed race. There was movement up and down the field, but like we said, Max dominated throughout this one. That means they go to Brazil this week. I don't think we can have a champion decided because I think there's how many races? There's the 2 races.
Really interesting.
Well, yeah, because if Max wins and Hamilton doesn't finish, but he still potentially could. The flip side of that, he could win the 2 final races, Max DNF, and both of those and win. So I don't think we'll have a winner in this one. So we're going right down to the end of the championship.
Yeah.
But what's happening with the cars, James?
Yeah. So so what's happened? So they've gone from Mexico to Brazil. They obviously have to freight everything across, and some teams, I'm not sure how widespread it is, but have not got their cars or equipment in time. So there's been a delay in the freight. I think normally there's a curfew.
Practice is meant to start today and actually might be on. Oh no, the time zone will be in the morning for us.
Yeah. So generally speaking, they've got like pretty strict time structures where the teams can work on the cars and they have to have a certain amount of hours where no one's working or touching the cars before free practice. But they've had to remove all those curfews because teams literally don't have engines to put into cars and stuff. I think I saw a picture of the McLaren garage today and it was bare of pretty much everything. So I think they're going to be in a bit of a rush this weekend to get cars on the track.
There was Pepsi in there playing guitar. Fucking no one else wanted to be there.
That's it. But yeah, by all accounts, potentially an interesting race. So I think this is going to be the last race where they're going to have sprint races qualifying.
Sprint qualifying. That's big points wise as well.
Yeah, big points wise, and I think that also leads into next season. I think they've been talking about trying to introduce more sprint races. changing up, I think, the point system for sprint racing to make it less relevant in terms of championship points, but still competitive enough.
Okay. So which means it would be less points than the 3-2-1 it is now.
I think so. Yeah, I'm not too sure what the new structure is. Maybe it's just
I think
a change of the
3-2-1
format. I think they were changing how it affects qualifying for the main race.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yep. So they've got the sprint race this week. I think news today also, Hamilton is going to have to take a 5-spot grid penalty because he is putting in a new engine.
Yep.
So will also play into the championship. Big for this weekend. Yeah. So, I mean, 5-place grid penalty for Hamilton doesn't really mean too much, especially if it means he is getting a new engine.
Yeah, 1 to 5 though. Still, he's got to make up 5 spots if Max's ends up being 1. So.
You do, but it's in terms of like that.
He couldn't have made up 5 spots in that Mexican race. Let's put it that way.
True.
So.
But I mean, yeah, new engine. So see how it plays. I mean, sprint race as well for qualifying.
Yeah, those 3 points are going to be big. It's
going to be interesting.
Competitive sprint race, I reckon. So
yeah. So it should be a good one to watch this weekend.
Mm-hmm. And with that, lads, I think we're done for this week in the podcast. We've covered all the sports, from cricket to NFL, to NBA, UFC, and then the AFL, with a bit of soccer and boxing thrown in before we got to F1. So big show. Thank you for coming out as always. It was a good time. And like we said, we're on a heater on that one. So
boys on a heater.
It'd be interesting to hear that one back. So
made for good listening, I reckon.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a few laughs in there.
Yeah,
a couple of laughs. It's good to laugh.
Yeah. The way the world is at the moment, it's always good to laugh.
Fucking hell.
Yes, that's it.
Righto, you guys have a good weekend. What will we have next week?
Results in the F1. Of course, more
T20
NFL.
World Cup.
We'll have a champion because that is Monday night.
Let's go.
We didn't talk about Tim Tszyu. I think that's coming.
So that's going to be Wednesday night this week.
Oh, that's this week.
Yeah, it's this week. So Tim Tszyu this week. So that's big. We'll probably have a winner in that.
What's that, November 15? It's coming up.
Yeah,
something like that.
So a lot going on, as always.
Let's fucking go.
Always got so much sport to talk about.
Yeah. Thank you, boys.
Thank you.
We'll see you all next week.
Catch
Bye.
Bye.